Now, today, we are gonna see, what if Naruto was demigod Saiyan vampire slayer? Part 1. Please subscribe this channel, because definitely I will try my best to provide a valuable content for you all. Also check the description to support the original author for this beautiful creation. Naruto was walking on his own. He had no idea what was going to happen, but he had an idea. His birthday was tomorrow, but he figured he would be attacked by a mob, as usual. However, for 5 days, something has been nagging at him to remember something. He couldn't remember something, but he couldn't find out what. Then dawn came. He went out for a walk. He was on high alert, but tried not to show it. Something told him he was going to be attacked today. He didn't know how he knew, but somehow he knew. He felt that it was going to happen this afternoon. Again, wondering why he thought that. That afternoon, the feeling from that morning came true right on schedule. He began running around the entire village, hiding where he could, but the moment he left his hiding spot, he was spotted and started running again. Night fell. He was still running. There was one person left who could protect him now. He didn't realize someone was watching him the entire time. Naruto got a mere 10 feet from the gate to the Hokage's tower, and then he tripped. The mob was getting closer. He knew he wouldn't be able to get up and keep going. He was going to die right then and there. He then heard a voice. Taro barrage. A bunch of cardswing hearts and wings came down like a rain of arrows. They landed directly in front of the mob, stopping them momentarily. A little girl in a somewhat strange outfit floated down gently. She turned to Naruto with a frown. "Are you okay, Naruto-san?" Naruto looked at the girl, scared. Then something came to him. He should know this girl. But how? I've never seen her before. As if she plucked that very thought from him, she spoke. "I see you don't remember me, Naruto-san. Hang on for a second," the girl said to him. He was hesitant, but something told him to listen. "Why should I listen to her? I don't even know her," another voice then told him. "Yes, you do. Roll with it. Perhaps you will remember." As much as he disagreed, the other voice had a point. He waited. Her finger touched his forehead lightly. Naruto saw several images, most of which looked familiar. He figured out that feeling from earlier was right. He had forgotten something. A lot of things. Then a certain scene came to the front. It explained what was going on. He remembered what he could do, just not how he could do so. He remembered certain people. Their names were Shuden, Moka, Sukune, Mizore, Yukari. Yukari. That was who this girl was. Yukari Sendo. The girl nodded. "I'm glad you remembered, Naruto," Yukari said as she hugged him. He smiled, remembering how these guys were. The mob was about to charge them. Yukari noticed this, released her embrace with Naruto and turned towards them. She stuck out her hand. Taro barrage. Cards flew out of her hand and wrist. "I don't want to hurt you if I don't have to. Leave now, or I will be forced to kill you for harming Naruto-san," Yukari said. None of the villagers were buying it, but a guy in a mask popped up. "Anbu." Just like the headmaster said. So far, everything's going as it was planned. A shinobi attacking civilians is against the law, the Anbu told Yukari. Yukari looked at the Anbu. "Sorry to say this, but I'm not a shinobi. You can't get me with that law. In addition, I was doing your job." "It was the job of the Anbu to protect him, was it not?" Yukari said. The Anbu tensed. "How do you?" This exchange had confused the villagers. Naruto spoke up. "She knows everything about me there is to know. Even things I shouldn't have been told. One would think you would have enough decency to tell me something that big. It doesn't matter if it's a sulfur monosulfide class secret." The Anbu tensed up. Yukari continued to speak. "Naruto-san is my friend, as well. If I left him hanging, what kind of friend would I be?" The Anbu backed off. He didn't want to risk going rogue. "But if what she said is true, someone had broken that law. Who told you any of that?" "I can't say, because it wouldn't make any sense. Let's just say a friend of mine knows, is not affected by the law, and told me. He should be here in about a year," Yukari said. In the meantime, Naruto-san and I will be living with another friend of mine who is already nearby. The three of us will be living together until my other friend comes by." The Anbu nodded. He turned to the mob behind him. They all left. "You know, I'm glad you didn't retaliate. Otherwise, I would have had to kill you," Yukari said, earning the ANBU's attention. "If you attacked me, you would have been breaking the law preventing shinobi from attacking civilians. If you attacked Naruto-san, you would have been going against your orders to protect him. In either of those cases, you would have been labeled a rogue shinobi, and I would have had to kill you if other Anbu didn't first." The Anbu began to think. This girl, she doesn't seem to be from around here, but her knowledge makes that impossible. Her techniques are strange, and don't require hand signs. Something few shinobi could ever do. I'm not sure whether I could take her on or not. "Who are you?" "Yukari Sendo. You should be hearing about me in a few days, if you haven't already." The fact that the villagers attacked him today means he didn't remember. "I brought back some of his memories of our time together. It's time we get going, Naruto-san. I already found the place we're supposed to go to." Naruto nodded. Naruto grew 4 wings, but they were relatively small. He remembered the technique, but it was once more powerful than this. He figured it would have to do. Yukari made 2 wings sprout from her back. They were translucent, but gave off a bit of energy. They nodded to each other. They both jumped, and then the wings helped them take flight, without flapping. Yukari led the way, and Naruto followed. They left the Anbu behind. The Anbu then went poof. With Yukari, "Naruto, how much do you remember?" Yukari asked, still flying. "I remember everyone, the wings, and the plan the headmaster had. I remember the other forms, but not how to go into them," Naruto replied, flying right next to Yukari. "Looks like I couldn't bring back any more memories than that, but it was enough to get you to remember me. That's good enough for now," Yukari said, smiling. "Here we are. Casa de Sukune," Yukari said, as she went down. Naruto went in after her. She landed and her wings went back in. Naruto landed and did the same. Naruto started to collapse. Yukari caught him. "Sukune-san. I have Naruto out here," Yukari said as she lumped over to the door. Sukune had come to the door. He knew that voice. When he opened the door, he went over to the two of them. "I'm glad you got to him before the mob. It looks like he was running for a while." "Well, it took me a while to find him. His memories of us were wiped. I managed to bring back his memories regarding the plans, his wings, and who everyone is. He also knows about his other forms, but doesn't remember how to go into them. That's all I could bring back. He should remember you, but I'm not sure, since your body has changed." "You remember the code word?" Sukune nodded. Naruto was being put into a bed. "It is Uzaru." Yukari nodded. "Hopefully, he remembers the code word. I didn't ask if he did." Sukune nodded. "First things first. Naruto needs to rest. You look like you're about to drop as well." "Okay. Sukune-san. I will take a rest. Room 2. "Got it," Sukune said. The next morning Naruto woke up in a bed. He was seeing things he usually didn't dream about. It was almost like it was real. Then he realized where he was. It was real. Then he remembered what he saw after he passed out. He remembered something Shuden said. It was about his eyes. Flashback. Your eyes are special. They are known as the spirit eye. You can use it by using your chakra. Just channel your chakra into your eyes. You should be able to do so. As far as anyone knows, this is an ocular jutsu that allows you to copy other ocular jutsu. You can any ocular jutsu you see in action, and you can even have it used on you. Illusions, or genjutsu where you're from, will not affect you, and you will even be immune to the Tsukuyomi, the nightmare realm. That jutsu, normally it wouldn't matter if you can defeat the jutsu. With the spirit eye already active, you won't be affected. Sharingan won't affect you. Byakugan doesn't do anything to harm you itself, but it will slow down their reaction time. There is also another ability you can gain. I will show you how it works now. Naruto looked at the flame. He saw what looked like 6 guys going up against a guy with 3 heads. That guy with 3 heads is Jiraiya. Perverted, but powerful, he is of the legendary Sannin, along with Orochimaru and Tsunade. Their sensei, Hiruzen Sarutobi, is the 3rd Hokage. Jiraiya also is your father's sensei. The other guys, however, are doing what I want you to see. They're looking for each other. Their minds are connected, aren't they? Naruto said. Correct. The Spirit Eye also has a similar feature. Their eye is known as the Rinnegan. The Spirit Eye can do so with another user of the Spirit Eye. Flashback end Naruto tried doing as Shuden said. He managed to do so and noticed the change in both eyes. He didn't make a single hand sign. He then remembered something else. I wonder. Naruto closed his eyes. When he opened them, he looked into the mirror. His form changed, his clothes changed, and he had 6 tails. His eyes were the same, except they had the Spirit Eye active. His form looked familiar. He was in his half-fox form. He went out of his half-fox form, and didn't feel tired at all. He realized that the form didn't do much but expand his book of moves and jutsu. He went outside. He saw Yukari, and a guy that looked similar to Sukune. Hey, Yukari. I take it he knows the code word? Uzaru. Naruto nodded. Uzaru. It's a good thing you remembered the code word, Naruto. Otherwise, it would have been hard to prove to you I was who I am, Sukune said. Naruto shook his head. He activated his Spirit Eye. Sukune's Spirit Eye activated, as well. Someone had activated it by activating theirs. No way, you already remembered about the Spirit Eye. Naruto smirked. Yay. I remembered that you and Shuden have it. I remember the abilities it gives as well. Along with the fact that when one activates it in a certain area, anyone else who has it will also have it activate. It won't be of their own will either. They will also. No one is in the area. It's a handy feature to tell you and Shuden apart without remembering the code word. It also means it will be easy for me and you to find out when Shuden arrives. No kidding. I'm glad about that as well. Well, we'd better start training. You have a lot to relearn, Sukune said. Naruto nodded and they went outside. Yukari went with them. Hokage's office. The Hokage was meeting with the Anbu that was supposed to be protecting Naruto. Sir, I ran into someone last night. It was a little girl. Her name was Yukari Sendo. This sent a chill down the Hokage's spine. She said something about a friend arriving in about 1 year. She already knows about the Kyuubi being sealed within him. She knows that there are supposed to be Anbu protecting him. She used that against me, along with her not being a shinobi. Somehow I doubt she was not a shinobi, based on what she did. She didn't look older than 12, but something told me she was telling the truth. This girl, she touched Naruto Uzumaki's forehead with a finger, did she not? The Anbu nodded. She did. Do you know what happened, sir? Tell me the whole story. The 3rd Hokage said. The Anbu proceeded to tell him everything. -1 story later. I see. She was, in fact, not a shinobi. That technique she used was not a jutsu. She wasn't even using chakra for it. She is from another dimension. Yukari Sendo was not joking when she said she would have killed you if you attacked. Someone had come to me a few days ago with a warning. He was a weird one, but he told me of this Yukari Sendo. From what he told me, that young girl is more dangerous than a Junin when provoked. She is only 11 years old, but she is different from shinobi. She will not be joining our shinobi ranks, but she will be staying for the time being. I would not provoke her if I were you. You are still to watch over Naruto, but if Yukari is there, anyone who goes after Naruto will be taken care of by her. When she does, you head in, acknowledge her, and take the body out. The 3rd Hokage told the Anbu. Is there anything else we should know regarding her friends? The 3rd Hokage nodded. Sukune Aono should already be here. He is more like Naruto than anyone else here. How much, however, is unknown to me. Shuden Sol is another of her friends. I didn't get much information on him, but he is supposedly as strong than the 4th Hokage himself. He should be coming in about a year. He will come to me himself. He is to be respected, but do not engage him. I was told of a code word they came up with. Supposedly, Naruto knows the code word. Only those who know about it will know what it means. I was told of the code word. It is, Uzaru. If someone comes claiming to be Shuden Sol, one of you three are to head there immediately. You are the only ones to know what the code word is. Understood. You two are dismissed. He pointed to the two male Anbu. Is there something else for me to do? Yes. Hinata Hyuga and her father Hishi Hyuga are to come here. Yukari and Naruto are also supposed to come. If what I was told is true, and so far it has, Hinata will have some memories that need to be awakened. I was not told what they are, nor was I told why she has them as well. Bring them to me. Hyuga household Hinata was trying to train, but something was telling her she was forgetting something. What exactly am I forgetting? I know it's something important, but I can't find out what. It's affecting my training. Hinata, you aren't doing anything right. You are being distracted. Put everything else out of your mind and focus on training. Hishi said with a steely tone. An Anbu agent had appeared. You go. What business does the Anbu have here? Hishi asked. The Hokage has asked for the presence of you and Hinata Hyuga, Hishi. The Anbu, now known as Yugo, replied. I see. Did he give a certain time? Hishi said. Right away. There is something he wishes to discuss. Hishi nodded. Hinata, we're stopping the training for the time being. Let's go. Hinata nodded. Finally, I can think about what I had forgotten. Yugo then said, I must gather the other ones he had requested. I will see you there. The cat-masked Anbu then went poof. Hishi knew better than to stay after this. With Naruto and Sukune were training their chakra control. Yukari was practicing her spells. The Anbu agent, Yugo, had appeared. Yukari took notice first. May I ask what you are doing here? I am an Anbu sent by the Hokage himself. He has asked that I bring Yukari Sendo and Naruto Uzumaki to him. It will have to wait. When Naruto and Sukune start training, it's hard to get them to stop, Yukari said. Is it possible to get their attention? Yukari nodded. There is, but it requires an attack on them. I see. Can I do the honors? Yukari shook her head. They don't know you're here yet. They know I am, so they might see it coming and dodge. She pointed a hand at each one. Tarot card. A card launched from each of her wrists. One would have reached Sukune had he not dodged with the afterimage. Naruto released his grip and landed on the ground, with his feet. What's the big idea, Yukari? Naruto said, but then he realized someone had come. An Anbu, and he recognized her mask. Yugo? Does the old man want to see me? The Anbu nodded. Yukari is also wanted. He has told us of the code word you had come up with, but we are not to tell anyone. Then Sukune spoke up. What is it then? If you know, then tell us. Uzaru. All three of them nodded. Inu and Tenzo already know of the code word, but no one else is to know. All three nodded again. All of us will come, seeing as somehow I am connected to this, if Yukari is wanted. Sukune said. Yugo nodded. They all left. Hokage's tower Hishi and Hinata Hyuga had already arrived. They were waiting on the others. Who else is supposed to be here? Lord Hokage. Yukari, Naruto, and Sukune landed right outside the window. They hopped in one after another. Yugo had went in with a puff of smoke. They decided to bring the other one that was with them. The one known as Sukune. Lord Hokage. If I may, why are these three here? Hishi asked. Something in Hinata's mind told her she should know them. How she would, she doesn't know. Sound familiar? Hey, Hinata-san. Hinata looked at the girl who had called her. I take it you feel like you know me, don't remember me? Hinata looked surprised for a moment, but then nodded. Naruto had explained the feeling to her last night, so she knew what was going on. Hang on. Yukari walked up to Hinata and touched her forehead. Hishi was about to slap the hand, but Sukune had grabbed his hand without anyone else realizing he had moved. I wouldn't do that if I were you. She is awakening sealed memories. If the connection is disrupted, then some permanent damage can happen to her nerves. You don't want that to happen, do you? Heishi looked surprised. What memories have been sealed? When did this happen? The Hokage looked at Heishi. I would suggest you listen to him. Few things can compare to their abilities. You are Sukune Aono, are you not? Sukune nodded without moving his eyes from Hiashi's. Heishi, I wouldn't get him mad either. From what I heard, he is more powerful than the Kyuubi himself. I take it Mikagami came to you. How much did he explain? I may be able to fill in some gaps. He told me of certain events, and when they shall happen. Who to look for, and a code word only to be shared by those protecting Naruto. Supposedly, Hinata is supposed to know it, but if your memories of it were sealed, then hers was also sealed. I still don't see how you got here from another dimension. Yukari removed her finger. Yukari. I take it I didn't remember anything after I came back? Yukari nodded. Then she hugged Hinata. Hinata hugged her back. I'm glad you helped me remember. I also remember what Naruto-kun is. Sukune-san? Sukune nodded as he let go of Hiashi's hand. Am I missing something here? Heishi asked, but no one answered. Hinata-chan, I had to get some rest before most of my memories came back. It may be possible you'll need some rest as well. Hinata shook her head. No, I remember everything already. Also, Sukune-san, do you still have that scroll? It's back at the house. Why? Sukune said. Hinata looked at him. That scroll should have something in it. Did you find out what it was? Sukune nodded. There were seals in them. One said Naruto, another said weaponry, and a third said Gale Cutter. Naruto is the only one who can open them. He hasn't seen there yet, and neither have I. We will be waiting for a few months and get his abilities back to where they were back at the academy. Hinata nodded. Then she thought about something. Don't you think that would be a little much? I mean, his abilities back then were far beyond cage level. I know, but this will make it easier for him to do some of the things he will need to know. A second scroll from Shuden also appeared. When I went through. That one is for you. It's also at the house. Can you still use the warp? Sukune nodded. I'm not going to do so unless I have to, though. Mikagami made some things off limits until certain points, remember? Hinata slapped herself mentally. I completely forgot. Sorry, my fault. Those requirements were brought back, but I didn't pay much attention. Naruto grinned. Don't worry about it, Hina-chan. Things will be okay. Naruto said, earning a smile from Hinata. I said I was getting rid of the fainting Hinata, didn't I? Hinata nodded. I say we wait before the scrolls are handed out. However, for the time being, Hinata should train with us. Sukune said. She needs to learn more than what the Hyuga clan can teach her. We can help with that. I also studied several fighting styles, and can help her out with the gentle fist, as well. Heck, I used it for a while, but then I got stronger with Shuden's help. His training regimen was torture. Naruto said. No kidding. At least he produced great results, and he warned us that we'd go to hell and back 3 times during the course of it all. Sukune continued. Naruto nodded. True, and since we can't really follow that regimen to the letter, we have to make do without the gravity enhancements. I have the weights he gave me still. They'll help out, Sukune said, earning 3 nods. Since that's out of the way, Lord Hokage, is there something else you wanted to know? Yes, there is. I was wondering about that warning he gave me. I see. That warning is completely true. Where Yukari and I are from, Naruto happens to be well respected. If Naruto dies before his time, not only will you have several hundred beings attacking the village, none of them will really be human. If Shuden is already here at that point, you can count in a few others that will make the fight one-sided. C-class there could easily take on the average Chunin. Naruto was considered a 3-star, as was I, when we left. When Shuden was born, he was the equivalent of a lower-end Junin. He can be your greatest ally, or your worst enemy. Don't mess with his friends, or you're going to die. He knows the situation, so he will try to restrain himself, but it won't be easy. Sukune looked at Naruto. Naruto nodded. 2 chains of seals were made and the walls glowed green and blue. What did you two just do? Protective barriers. What we are about to tell you is not to leave this room. It will be considered a sulfur monosulfide class secret. Hinata realized what this meant. I take it you're going to tell him about Shuden's eye. Sukune nodded. Got it. As you wish. What is said here will not leave this room, the third Hokage said. Sukune and Naruto started to explain the abilities of the spirit eye. They purposely left out the super spirit form. They didn't need to know about that until Shuden came along. Wow. This spirit eye can do that much? Sukune shook his head. It can do more, but the rest is dependent on the user. After all, it manifests differently for each person. And always in one eye at first. Heishi was wondering something. He asked them, how is it possible for you to use the Byakugan through that eye? As long as you see it in action, you can use it. Shuden can also look into the time stream, through which he has seen the Sharingan, the Byakugan, and another form which none of you have heard of. It is known as Gyos, and it isn't even in Jutsu. The spirit can only be achieved by certain people, and it is not chakra-based, Sukune said. Naruto continued. That doesn't mean you can't use chakra to activate it. I mean that's what I do. This caught everyone off guard, but Sukune hit Naruto in the head. You idiot. We haven't told them who else has it. Hey, I figured they would have figured that out, anyway. Sukune and I can both use the spirit eye. Aside from Shuden, Sukune, and myself, we met one other who had the spirit eye. He doesn't know the code word, and I doubt he will come here, Naruto said, rubbing his head where he got hit. Other than that, there is nothing else that you really need to know at the moment. When Shuden comes in, you should let one of us know. Naruto and I will be able to see for sure, and if he activates his, ours will activate as well. His is in the shape of an F, but it can change into a 19-point star. If it does, be careful, and don't attack him. You run, no questions asked. Sukune and Naruto activate theirs. Mine is a plus, normally, but I have already attained the upgrade. My upgrade is the 9-point star, but I can only do that when I transform. That form has been marked off limits until 2 conditions are met. First, Naruto, Hinata, and I have become genin. Second, either the village is under attack, which will require the other form marked as off limits, or we are not in the village at all. We are not to use it unless needed, either. Mine, as you can see, is made of 3 ovals surrounding a diamond at one point. I have yet to upgrade it, and I don't know how that happens. We haven't seen the last one in action, but other than the personal abilities, there's not much else that you don't know. We don't even know his personal abilities ourselves, so if he comes along with the attack, the village won't stand a chance. No ifs, ands, or buts, Naruto said. That's all there is to know right now, Sukune said. Yukari shook her head. Sukune-san, I think you forgot something. I didn't forget. That much is not needed to be known by anyone else. I was told by Shuden to leave that specific part out until he gets here, Sukune said, earning a nod from Naruto and Hinata. They remembered this from the meditation room. In the meantime, that information will be known only to those who know the code word, and those who are here at this point in time. If word gets out about this, people will gain an incentive to attack Naruto. That is the reason no one is to know. In addition, the Hyuga clan will try to make us a weapon to control if their council finds out. I agree wholeheartedly. If they found out about the spirit eye, they will be after whoever has it. They will think it's a Kekkei Genkei. They will do anything they can to get it within the clan as a weapon. I will keep them out of the loop. If it is not a Kekkei Genkei, then there is reason to believe it is more powerful than an actual visual Kekkei Genkei. Yukari nodded. It is, being as it can combine several different ocular abilities, such as the Sharingan and Byakugan, and use them simultaneously through it. There are more combinations, but some of them can't be used by the two present. In truth, the abilities gained weaken, but can be combined with others. Side effects are only that of the spirit eye, meaning chakra isn't drained anywhere near as fast as the Sharingan normally would. In addition, the blind spot for the Byakugan is no longer there, but the maximum sight range is halved. Heishi looked incredulous. This was becoming a problem none would think of. But if this eye were with Konoha, what would happen if the spirit eye were used in a war? Sukune spoke up on this. It's already been used in a small-scale war. Twice actually. Both times I was there, only once was Naruto there. Oyakata? Naruto asked. Sukune nodded. That's the one you were there for. I'm sure you heard about the utter annihilation of the PSC at the hands of the newspaper club, did you not, Naruto? A nod. That was the other time. I was participating in that as well. I went full out. Vegeta was pissed. Goku was having a blast. The others were thinking it was too easy. I even told Kuyu before we even began to go all out from the beginning. He'd live longer. With an angry Vegeta as his opponent, he's dead either way. Yukari and Naruto shuddered. They'd seen what happens when a Saiyan gets pissed. Not a good thing. If he comes, and he's pissed, this village is as good as gone. Naruto added. Back on topic, the spirit eye would easily make a war one-sided. It's not even listed as a jutsu, for the simple fact it's not originally chakra-based. It is actually spiritual-based. This makes it a hard technique to gain through sheer power, Yukari said. Is that all? Sukune asked the Hokage, who nodded. The barriers went down. I guess it's back to training. Besides, Naruto has a few things to learn. Or rather, relearn. Hinata will be able to learn how to do them as well due to a certain thing that the three of us share. She knows what I mean. I feel Heishi does as well. Heishi looked at Sukune. I only know this because she told me, or rather, Shuden told me after he found out. A fourth Jinchuriki will come as well when I am older. Her name is Kyoko Aono. She's my cousin. Naruto grabbed Hinata's wrist. Naruto, Sukune, and Yukari warped out. That is all, Heishi. Nothing else can be done here, and he does have a point. There are things only they can teach her. That's not what I'm worried about. It's what the council will do if they find out she is with Naruto. Would it be okay for me to say it was a direct order from the Hokage for them to train her? Sarutobi nodded. That would make it easier. I still wonder what he meant by a fourth. Does that mean Sukune is another one? Heishi asked. The Hokage sighed. I don't know. If he is, it is one of the things we will find out later. Heishi nodded and went out. With Naruto, Hinata-chan, the first thing we have to teach you is your half-form. It will increase your senses, but you should not rely on that alone. Sukune and I have the half-fox as our half-form. Before we go any further, you'll need to know how to do this. No one else is to know. When we're done, you will be able to go into that form at will. You may be able to do things in that form you couldn't do beforehand. Naruto said. That's definitely the case for me. There's also one technique you can only do in half state or after taking on Neko's form entirely. The tailed beast bomb. That will come later, though. You'd have to be at least in your half state in order to use it. Naruto and I can use it already, and can do so with one tail for each. With 6 tails, in our half state, we can use it 6 times at once. We use it just like we'd use another technique, known as the Rasengan. We even upgraded it where the original creator of it couldn't. Sukune said. Hinata nodded. If I may, who created the Rasengan? Naruto and Sukune looked at each other. The former answered her question. My father, Minato Namikaze. The 4th Hokage. He created the Rasengan, and taught it to his sensei, Jiraiya of the Sannin. I learned it from Shuden, as did Sukune. We both managed to work on upgrading it ourselves. One of which is to use it as the tailed beast bomb, using the tails. Hinata gasped. They succeeded where the 4th Hokage failed. They really are powerful. I believe you're thinking that we succeeded where he failed because he couldn't upgrade it himself. There is a bit of truth to that, but it's not because he didn't have the capacity. What he lacked was time. He sacrificed himself before he could finish it. The two of us worked together to finish it. It took a while, but we managed to do so, and get rid of the negative effects of it. Sukune said. Hinata was a lot calmer than before. I think we should start. We have to keep on schedule, don't we? Naruto and Sukune nodded at Hinata's suggestion. Why don't we start with 200 each here, at least until Shuden gets here? Then we'll pick up where we left off back at the academy. Hinata will be a little behind, but maybe she'll be able to start at 300x by the time he gets here. They all nodded. They all knew they needed to be able to control what they could do. They started off by climbing the trees without their hands. Naruto had made 3 shadow clones to catch them should they fall. They all started off with 200 squats. They did so upside down, using only chakra to cling to the tree. Next was 200 sit-ups on the trunk. They did this with their heads going to the ground at rest. After that, they started doing pull-ups only using the palms of their hands. There were 200 of those, as well. Then came the push-ups. 200 of those, also only using the palms and toes. In addition, only the nose can touch in order for it to count. Yukari did the same exercises, but instead of 200, she continued until the rest of them finished each set. She managed to get over 600 squats, 524 sit-ups, 559 pull-ups, and 464 push-ups, in the times they got to 200 for each. -4 months later, each one was doing their exercises early in the morning, every morning. It was at this point, however, Heishi got up early. He was walking around and noticed that someone else was up. Someone else up? At this hour? The sun wasn't supposed to rise for an hour or so at this point. He decided to see who was up and he found out it was Hinta. Hinata, what are you doing? Heishi asked. In between each repetition, she said one word. Exercising. It's for the training Naruto-kun and Sukune-san are going for. Heishi looked at Hinata quizzically. Why would they be doing this at this hour? You should get into your bed. Hinata replied somewhat bluntly. I've been doing this every morning since we started. I'm up to 500 each. When I can do that with ease, and under 30 minutes total, I add 50. She switched from sit-ups to pull-ups. Heishi was watching her determination with renewed interest. Why push yourself so hard? It's not like it will do you any good, Heishi said. Ask Sukune-san how much he managed to gain from doing this at gravity levels above 300 times that of here. Then tell me it doesn't work. Hinata shot back without missing a beat. Heishi was shocked, but it only showed for a second. My own daughter telling me I'm wrong. I'll buy. How is this supposed to help? With the weights I have on, it increases stamina and endurance. It also increases chakra control, and thus the amount of chakra you can use. This is due to the fact you have to use chakra to cling to the tree at several points. I started off at 200 each. Heishi nodded, and then realized she said weights. How much weight are you wearing? 4 tons. I've been doing so from the beginning. It's split into 4 places. Both wrists, and both ankles. Hiashi's eyes went wide. How? He didn't finish. Hinata cut him off. It's all a part of the training. I'm on the 3rd set. Now. Last thing on the list is push-ups. Heishi nodded. I'll have the servants make you breakfast for when you finish. Before I go, how many do the others do? Last I checked, 750 for Sukune-san. 700 for Naruto-kun. Heishi went wide-eyed even more. His eyes threatened pop out. I'd better get going. Just keep going until you're done. Damn. I must inform the Hokage about this. He needs to know what the training is, and how effective it could be. Later that day when Hinata told Naruto and Sukune that she told her father, they just nodded. I can only imagine what was running through his head. Being up as early as this and doing some exercises that even Junin would have trouble doing every day would probably make him tell the Hokage, or wonder how we do it, Naruto said. If I had to guess, not only would he tell the Hokage, he will try doing so with other members of the Hyuga clan, if it works out the way Hinata said. For the time being, though, he won't be able to do so. Anyway, the scroll Shuden gave me for Hinata finally opened last night. A seal appeared and I was able to unseal it. I found out soon it was a portal. When I went through, I ended up in an area similar to Shuden's training grounds. There was a white area and everything. We'll be using that area for training from now on. Also, we'll be able to get Hinata to go into her half-state there. Sukune said, earning 3 nods. Well then, let's go. Sukune had taken out a dino cap. He pushed the plunger and threw it. A portal similar to the one Shuden had on the 3rd floor of his place popped out. It activated, and all 4 of them went in. On the other side, it looked exactly like Shuden's training grounds. See what I mean? Naruto and Yukari nodded. You may want to take off your weights. We'll head to where we were before we came here. Agreed? Everyone nodded. Hinata, since you are at 300 already, I'd say you'd start at 150x, with 50 of each set. Hinata nodded at Sukune's suggestion. The rules for each set are the same, however now you only increase the amount of each set by 50 when none of them are holding any difficulty. Once you reach 500 reps, you upgrade the gravity by 50x, and start over at 50 repetitions for each set. Other than that, there are no differences. Is everyone clear? Sukune asked, earning 3 nods. Then let's get to work. Hinata, once you reach 300x we will teach you how to go into your half-state. Not a moment sooner. Hinata nodded and they all went to where they were supposed to. Hokage's office. Lord Hokage, I have some information regarding the training my daughter has been going through. Heishi said after he gained the old man's attention. What did you manage to find out? Heishi explained everything that Hinata told him that morning. Don't you think it's a little much for children? Sarutobi sighed. She has an unusual amount of determination for this, does she not? Heishi nodded. Then it should be all right. I've heard of some of this, but not how it is supposed to work. If the results are what I think, Hinata would be at Chunin level in a few months of this kind of training. I have told you that Hinata is a Jinchuriki, but still it's too much for her. Heishi said, clearly concerned. The cat-masked Anbu, Yugo, had come in. Lord Hokage, I have some news. Is it about the Jinchuriki? Yugo nodded. Proceed. Yugo told him what he saw a few minutes earlier. I would have gone in myself, but as to what's there, I have no idea. Tenzo and Inu have both gone in there to watch over them. It appears that they are continuing their training on the other side. I will be heading in soon, as well. You figured that this portal should be reported? Sarutobi asked. Yugo nodded. Not only that, but the training they do on the other side will also be reported. We will need to find out what they are capable of, and from what I've seen so far, their endurance and stamina seem to be far beyond Junin level. Very well. Heishi, your daughter is in good hands. There is no reason for alarm just yet. Yugo, you are dismissed. Yugo nodded and went out. Is there anything else you wanted to report? No, Lord Hokage. Then you are dismissed, as well. I have paperwork to do. I wish I didn't, though. It gets tiring. After training. Wow. Hinata could do all of that with ease. Sukune asked no one in particular. She still nodded. I even went back for another 100 of each. 150x is nothing compared to the weights I was using. Naruto whistled. I figure if you're that far along, you'd be ready for the next step in about a month. Sukune nodded in agreement. We both set ourselves at 600x and went for 100 each. It was a bit easy, so we went for a little spar at 500x. It was easy enough, and he still gives me a workout, Naruto said. The 3 Anbu that's supposed to watch over Naruto were waiting by the portal. Sukune had told them not to leave the white area for their own safety. They listened, but only because they heard what he had done. I'm glad you didn't leave the white area like I asked. I didn't tell you why you shouldn't, did I? The tiger-masked Anbu, Tenzo, shook his head. Naruto explained the gravity warp past the white area. All 3 Anbu went wide-eyed, but thankfully for them, it was hidden behind the mask. It didn't fool Sukune or Naruto due to them having their spirit eye active. They knew how they really felt about that. They didn't call them on it. It was a natural reaction. Come on guys, let's head out take a walk around. Hinata suggested. Yukari didn't really look thrilled, she agreed nonetheless. Naruto noticed this. Yukari, don't worry. You can handle everything the villagers can throw at you and more. Besides, the Anbu are probably going to follow us as well. With all that, I think we're good. Besides, we've been doing all this for all of us. Yukari nodded. I never realized how much Naruto is like Shuden. He's giving me encouragement the same way Shuden did. They all left, and Sukune found the panel and pushed it in. The portal went poof, and a dino cap appeared in its place. Sukune grabbed it before it hit the ground. None of them had their weights on anymore. Tenzo said he had to take care of something and left. -30 minutes later Hinata, Sukune, and Naruto were playing on the playground. As they were playing, Sukune realized someone was about to get bullied. He recognized this feeling from when Yukari was being bullied. Sukune stopped what he was doing to find out where it was happening. The other realized what he was doing. They saw 3 boys picking on a girl with pink hair. Sukune and Hinata tackled 2 of the boys. Naruto jumped in front of the third and caught the fist as he was about to punch the girl. The kid was surprised he caught the fist. Naruto cocked his own fist, and the kid closed his eyes, trying to get away. He realized it was futile, but the fist never connected. The next thing he knows, there was a poof. He opened his eyes and realized everyone else was gone. The other 2 were knocked out. The girl was gone, and so was the one who had him in a vice grip. Behind a tree, Naruto was trying to calm the girl down. Yes, I got this from Junior the Wolf. I figured it would help out Sakura, in the way I want her portrayed. Meaning, not a bitch. He was calming her down, telling her everything would be okay. This girl is Sakura. She doesn't know me yet, so it's best if I don't let her know that I know her. This girl looked up at the smile Naruto gave her. She went for a hug, which he returned. Hinata and Sukune arrived not long afterwards. The others hightailed it out of there. They won't be back for a while. How is she doing? Hinata asked. I'm fine. The girl, Sakura said, tears still in her eyes. Sukune realized that she had yet to meet Naruto at this point, so he asked the natural question. What's your name, kid? Sakura Haruno. Her tears were drying up. And you? I'm Sukune Aono. This is Hinata Hyuga, of the Hyuga clan. She's not like most of them, though, which is a plus. Hinata nodded. And this is Naruto Uzumaki. You could ask around about Naruto, but I doubt you'd find out much. Naruto nodded. Sakura was a little confused about Naruto. Why is it I wouldn't find much? She's curious. Was the collective thought. Naruto spoke up. The Hokage made it so no one would find out anything about me. He did so to protect me, but the word got out. These 2 knew more about me than most, and this was before I even met them. This is because the 3 of us share something in common, and that keeps us together. Sakura nodded. It made a little sense. Then something got into her eye. She closed it, trying to get it out. She opened it up when she thought it was gone. Sukune and Naruto felt their spirit eye activate on their own. They looked at each other. They realized something. Someone else had activated their spirit eye. Sukune, is it possible he'd come 8 months early? Sukune shook his head. Hinata realized what this meant. She looked at Sakura's eyes. Her eyes went wide. Guys, it isn't Shuden. This caught their attention. They looked at Sakura's eyes. No way, Sukune said, though the others were thinking it as well. What? Sakura's eyes started to water as she said that. It's nothing bad, Sakura. None of thought anyone else here could have that eye. Naruto said as he pulled out a mirror and handed it to her. Look at your left eye with that. She took the mirror and did what he asked. Her left eye had a blue pupil in the shape of an X. What does this mean? What kind of eye is this? Sukune nodded. This is to be expected, Naruto. Her gratitude to us for helping her seems to have harnessed into her eye and gave her the spirit eye. I didn't realize that it could be activated like that. Either way, I think she should train with us. We could teach her more about the eye at the same time. It helps us all out. Not to mention it would give her some friends for her to count on. Sakura saw several ways this could go. Are they saying they're training to become ninja? It's worth a shot. She'd have a good advantage. Hey Sakura, would you like to become ninja like we do? Sakura nodded. So they're training to become ninja. I'd like to. I just don't have any skills. There's nothing to worry about there. We all can help. In fact, we've been training for a few months physically and mentally. We still have to have fun every now and then. Hinata said. She had a lot more confidence in herself ever since Naruto and Sukune started training her. I've changed a lot, and we all have to hide what we can really do. If not, well, things wouldn't be good, that's for sure. Sakura looked surprised. How bad could it be? Naruto and Sukune looked at each other. Junin would have some trouble with us at this point. We train all out, and surprise Anbu at how much we can do. Then when we're done, we hide what strength we can through a genjutsu that hides our physical appearance. This also keeps others from questioning us, Naruto said. Sakura went wide-eyed. If these guys are this powerful from their training alone, just think how good I could get. I'll do it. Naruto did a double take. You'll do it? The training is rough, to say the least. This kind of training has sent me and Sukune to hell and back 5 times already. Hinata had just started 4 months ago, but his determination to keep up with us has kept her going. Do you have such determination? Sakura didn't know that. I'll never know if I don't try. Sukune liked her answer. Naruto nodded. First things first. You have to deactivate the spirit eye. Normally, calming down all of your feelings work. Sometimes, it has to be thoughts that need to calm down. Sakura nodded. She closed her eyes, cleared her mind, and opened them. Needless to say, the spirit eye went away. They all nodded. Sakura was relieved. I'm glad I made some friends, she muttered under her breath. They continued playing for a few more hours. Sakura's mother came up, wondering where she had gone off to. Sakura, she noticed her daughter was playing with Naruto, Hinata, and someone she had only seen recently. Sakura, it's time to go, she called out. She looked at her newfound friends. Don't worry Sakura. I'll meet you and Hinata here and we'll start training tomorrow. You should be here at 10 a.m. I'll be waiting for you, Naruto said, earning a nod from Sakura. I'll hold you to that, Naruto. Sakura left with her mother, telling her what happened. She left out the part about what happened to her eye. She didn't know what to make of that. Her mother was still surprised to say the least. And you accepted? Sakura nodded. I want to be a ninja like you were, but I don't have any skills. They said can help, and I think they really can. They did tell me it was a little dangerous, but the results are in the risk. At least, that's what they said. She's growing up. I'm surprised. Wait, are those Anbu? Sakura, did they say anything about Anbu? Sakura shook her head. They said that Lord Hokage had made some laws preventing certain information about Naruto-san from getting out, but that was it. Why? Just curious. I thought I saw a few Anbu earlier. I'll have to ask the Hokage about that other one. If the Anbu tells him about Sakura gaining an invitation for training, he would probably know why. Chapter end. Looks like things were going longer than I wanted to. I wanted to introduce someone else. The whole situation with Sakura was to make more people like her later on. It's supposed to help mold her later on. Review if you want to. Help out with any suggestions for Sakura to help her not be a bitch if you can. An old friend appears. Time for Chapter 2 Disclaimer. I own nothing of Naruto, or Rosario plus Vampire. Chapter 2. An old friend appears. It has been 3 months since Sakura joined the Jinchuriki trio for training. They managed to add her into the mental link that they had. Since Sukune had given it to everyone else so far, he figured he might want to do so. He made sure to tell her it's possible to block others out, but only to do so when necessary. The Hokage himself, those Anbu, and S are the only ones who know," Sukune said. Sakura nodded. She found that they meditate quite a bit, and this is to increase their awareness, as well as their control over their emotions. She has learned of the default features of the spirit eye. She also found that it allows her to read another person's mind, something that Naruto and Sukune couldn't do. Naruto and Hinata were working on maintaining Hinata's half state. "I can do so for about 20 minutes, but then I pass out and revert back. Any tips?" Naruto nodded. "The more control of your chakra you have, the easier it is to maintain the form. Your chakra goes a little wild while you are in that form. This is due to Lady Neko. Her somewhat chaotic nature makes it so that, while you are in your half state, your chakra starts going chaotic. The only way any of us can extend our time in that form is by increasing our chakra control. At least, this is what we've figured out." Hinata nodded. She walked over to the 450X area, and went back to training her control before she was told to do anything else. Damn. She knew what I was going to say and did so before I said anything. Every week they all had a day off of training. They took the time to explore, hang out with friends, whatever. Hinata had been spending time with her cousin Neji, but more often than not she was with Naruto. Neji had taken to Naruto with a certain interest he couldn't describe. Sakura had been spending time with Sukune. She found his stories interesting. He started telling her about the time Mocha got kidnapped. How did she manage to out of there alive? Shuden came in, and literally tore them apart. He told Mocha to get out of there. His form changed after she was gone. He tore the minions limb from limb, and threw them. 3 of them died before he even attacked once. The amount of energy he was giving off was enormous. One would wonder how he even managed to control it. We soon found out he was unconscious during the entire ordeal. He blanked out with rage and gained a new form. The only thing he knew was that he was protecting Mocha, the one person he loved more than anyone else. Sukune went on to explain what happened. Sakura didn't want him leaving out any details. She didn't really like the way he acted, but it was justified. Even she saw that. "I guess no one should get him angry at them," she said when Sukune was done. "True. The fastest way to make him angry is hurt his friends. If they are close to dying, like Mocha was at that point, he will go into a fit of rage. Naruto, Hinata and I are all friends of his. Heck, he even trained Naruto and myself. He knows what we're capable of, or at least he did. We've improved since he last saw us. You're also a major improvement. You're smart, and always have been. You could figure things out, but lacked any physical ability. Combining the two has made you about as good as a Chunin at this point. As long as you don't forget what we teach you, you will do just fine. As for jutsu, we'll be starting that soon." Sakura nodded. Sukune smiled. Things are going to be great. Then 2 boys had come up to Sukune and Sakura. One had a scarf and was eating a bag of chips. The other had black hair, a jacket and looked like he would drop any minute and take a nap. "Hey, who are you?" the black-haired guy asked Sukune. Sakura looked at the guy who asked the question. "Hey Shikamaru. This is Sukune. I've been hanging out with him for a while now." Sukune saw that Shikamaru gave a lazy impression, but he couldn't be fooled. He knew full well what he was capable of. "Hey, I actually hear you're kind of lazy. That's not exactly what I see in your eyes. Though." This caught Shikamaru and his friend off guard. "Your friend there must be Choji Akamichi. Am I right?" The other guy nodded. "Yay, I'm Choji. How did you know?" "The bag. I heard they eat a lot." Alarms went off in Shikamaru's and Sakura's heads. Sukune knew what he was doing and continued regardless. "I'm actually surprised that he's not fat." Sakura released a sigh. Shikamaru began thinking, how did this guy cover that up so quickly? Does he already know how much the Akamichi clan eats, and how they hate being called fat? Choji went from about to be insulted to be praised. "Why thank you. You know, most people don't get that fat and plump are 2 different things." Sukune smirked. "I'm not surprised about that. Most people only go by what they see. That leads to a lot of misunderstandings. Plump is a lot better than being fat, especially when it's all muscle. Shikamaru thought Sukune was laying it on pretty thick. Sakura thought so, too. Until she found out that what Sukune was saying is his actual opinion. By the way guys, where's Ino? Not here. I'm glad about that. I don't want her nagging me all the time, Shikamaru said. Well, I wanted to tell her that I've given up on Sasuke. If she can grab him, he's hers. Somehow I doubt that, though. After all, he is an elite. Sakura said. I know he's not as good as you and your friends. Sukune-kun. I mean from what you guys do in that enhanced gravity you're easily on par with Junin. Sukune smiled. Why don't you guys tell her the next time you see her? Shikamaru nodded. She's probably going to wonder why she would ever give up on the Uchiha. All the girls his age want him, except for Hinata. Now Sakura is off that list. Sukune spoke up. I have a feeling that more girls will be falling out of his fan club when they see his butt get kicked several times over by 4 people, at the least. Shikamaru was surprised. If I may ask, who are you talking about? 2 of them are right in front of you. Another is a Hyuga, Hinata to be exact. The final one is someone who would never be suspected of beating him. Shikamaru looked at Sukune. This guy, something's definitely different about him. I'm not sure what or why, but somehow I don't doubt him. Sakura picked a thought straight from Shikamaru's brain. That's a wise thing to do, Shikamaru. The last one to underestimate him got themselves killed. Shikamaru was shocked. It registered on his face. They died? How could he be that powerful? He looks like he's only 5 years old. Actually, Shikamaru, I'm 6. Sukune said, further adding to his shock. Now he's reading my mind, too. My god, what are these 2? You won't find out from anyone else, Sakura said. It's not likely you'll find out anything about Sukune anywhere, but with those close to him. Even the Hokage doesn't know much, from what I hear. I gotta get out of here. This is getting too tiresome. Even my mind is being invaded. I can't do anything like this. Don't worry. We were about to leave anyway. Sakura's mother is coming up, now. Sukune said. Right on schedule, Sakura's mother comes into view. How did he know? Sukune refrained from answering that question. It would require a lot of explaining. Hey mom. I'm just talking to Choji and Shikamaru. They actually think I'm reading Shikamaru's mind, Sakura said. I'm not surprised. That eye of yours has gotten more and more impressive each time you use it, but it's time to go home. Okay. See you tomorrow Sukune-san, Sakura said. Later Sakura. To answer your question, Shikamaru, I found her aura coming towards us. That's also how I knew what you were thinking. Your aura. Later. Sukune jumped up and disappeared. Damn. That guy is good. What do you think Shikamaru? Choji asked. He's too good. It's close to impossible for anyone to be that good at his age, Shikamaru said, clearly frustrated. He let it go instantly, though, so Choji didn't see it. Come on, let's get going. They walked off. -4 months later Shuden was due to come within a month. Sukune, Hinata, and Naruto were sparring. Sakura was still training with them. She was able to go 10 minutes with Naruto in his half-fox. She was the only one outside the group of Jinchuriki that wasn't a shinobi, or the Hokage that knew about the secret with Naruto, Hinata, and Sukune. She was the first in the village to learn that Sukune had a demon inside, just like Naruto. She still hadn't told anyone about that. One day they were training, and their spirit eye activated on its own. They were being alerted to someone else in the area. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Do you think that he would come about 3 weeks early? Naruto asked. It's worth a shot. They went up to the Anbu. Hey, I think Shuden will be here sometime in the next few hours. We look for him. The Anbu nodded. They all went outside. Elsewhere. The villagers saw something falling out of the sky. Uncle Asuma, what's that? A kid asked. That's a shooting star. Legend says if you make a wish on it, it will come true. A guy with a cigarette in his mouth, Asuma said. With the star. What seemed to be a sphere was heading in. It had a window on it, and a 19-point star right below the window. Once it reached 14,000 feet over the ground, the sphere retreated. A body formed. It was Shuden. His eyes opened with his spirit eye active. It was his normal spirit eye, the F. He then was enveloped in a golden aura, and he went from a diagonal down to a straight horizontal backwards. His path was the Leaf Village. With Naruto, the moment he got on the other side of the portal, he saw a golden light. The others managed to get out. Guys, get ready to jump, Naruto said, bracing himself. 5 seconds later, the light disappeared and a guy with golden spiky hair had landed. It was Shuden. Hey guys, what's shaking? Sukune looked at him. Certainly not your tail. Shuden looked at Sukune. You're one to talk, Sukune. Touché. Sukune said. Naruto spoke up. Hey guys, don't get into that now. Shuden, why are you here 3 weeks before you're supposed to be? Dunno. If anything, I almost forgot. Password. The Anbu looked at Shuden. Yukari came out. She heard a commotion. She also felt a familiar presence. She looked at Shuden in his Super Saiyan 1 form. He went into his normal state and touched down. Naruto, Sukune, and Yukari looked at each other. Sakura looked at Shuden. Are you really Shuden? You don't look anything like Sukune-kun said. The Anbu, Naruto, Sukune and Yukari said, at once, Uzaru. Okay then. Why is Sakura here? Shuden asked. Sukune had decided to train her. She gained the I when we helped her out, Naruto said. I thought of thousands of answers for the question, but that one was not one of them. Any idea how it happened? Shuden asked. Yeah, that's Shuden all right. Apparently, her gratitude had manifested into her eye. As to why, I'm not sure, Sukune said. How long? About 8 months. It's not that easy. Since she has the spirit eye herself, we filled her in. Sukune also told her some of the things we did back at the academy, Yukari said. Please tell me he didn't tell her about the kidnapping of Mocha, and what I did. Shuden said, hoping to Zeus that he didn't. It was evident he didn't want that information out. Sakura spoke up. He did. He didn't tell me what the name of your form is, but it looks different than you do now. No kidding. At that point it was the most powerful I've ever gotten. I couldn't remember anything I did that time around. Luckily the others were watching from a much safer place. He told me that as well. I also found out that you are one person we don't want to piss off. Sakura said, earning a nod. Good thing, I guess. Sukune, did you open the equipment seal? No, I didn't. It hasn't let me. Well, it should now. Either that, or Naruto should be able to. Are there any patches missing? You too? Naruto and Hinata shook their heads. Naruto spoke. Nope, everything's there. That's good. I take it you didn't give their memories to Sakura? Yukari shook her head. If she knew any of that, she wouldn't be as good. Besides, she knows more now than she did then. Sakura looked at Yukari. She knew she was being left out of the loop. Hold on, what do you mean by all of this? I haven't told her about the festival fight just yet. I haven't gotten around to it. She knows of the headmaster's plan though, Sukune said. Shuden nodded. Make sure you tell her that now. In the meantime, I will go to the Hokage. You guys are also going to get time off. After Naruto's birthday, which should be in a couple of weeks, we will pick up training. I will train Sakura myself. I know of what she would usually specialize in. If any changes need to be made, I will make them during training. Shuden started floating. I don't think that's a good idea, Shuden. You'd be better off taking the trees. The people here can't fly, and we only do so with the flame streaker. We can't even use the full abilities of them just yet, Naruto said before he could take off. You're right. I guess that's why the streakers were developed. Lightning left Shuden's shoulder blades. They went out about 3 feet from his body. Both lightning bolts went still and turned brown. What seemed to be translucent feathers about 4 feet long extended from the brown bolts. "That looks like Yukari's wings," Naruto said, amazed. Shuden nodded. "It's the lightning streaker. Yukari can use it herself, because, truthfully, she came up with the idea for it. She's more adept at it than I am. She can make the entire thing at once." Shuden jumped up and the wings wrapped around him. He went out in a flash of blue light. "Wing tackle? Seriously?" Sukune said, obviously miffed. "Yup. I gave it a few abilities that the flame streaker you have can use. Wing tackle is just one. Pulsar is another. It's good for combat, and defense as well. It can easily block the Kamehameha wave, and has done so against Goku's when he was at Super Spirit 4. N. Remember, Mikagami said Super Saiyan levels are to be called Super Spirit. Chapter 17, last time around. What the hell? Naruto and Sukune shouted. N. Sakura's Banshee's wail was nothing compared to this. Especially, given the fact they amplified it with their chakra for emphasis. Sakura, the Anbu and Yukari had to grasp their ears. "Geez, calm down you guys. It was only a test run." He was wondering how powerful it was for it to be able to take one at Super Spirit 3. He went level 4 afterwards. Still, not a scratch on it. The next day I managed to convince Vegeta to do the fusion. Vegeta went level 4, and used the Big Bang Kamehameha, at full strength. I didn't know whether or not it could take it. It withstood it for 4 full minutes, then it finally got a crack on it. The thing disappeared, and Vegeta separated directly afterwards. Both went back to normal, and passed out for an hour. Naruto's eyes rolled back into his head and he collapsed. Sukune just straight up passed out. Hinata also fainted. N. I know I said I got rid of this, but if Naruto faints she has more than enough reason to do so, don't you think? They took that quite well, Yukari said. Why did they pass out? Sakura asked. They all know how powerful Goku and Vegeta are alone. When they do the fusion, they become at least 100 times as powerful. At level 4, well, I'm sure you've heard what they can do from Sukune-san. If you multiply that by 100, and then, again by another 200, being as they never went past 0.5% strength according to Shuden, you'll see how powerful a blast that powerful would be, Yukari said. That's powerful. Sakura was looking shocked. Then she put her mind on something else. What's the pulsar do? The wings themselves give off their own energy. By sending the energy out, you can use it to get rid of any clones. It's lightning based, so anyone that has enough mastery over lightning style chakra can use it. I think Inu can do so, but we haven't taught him. He has pretty good mastery over lightning style chakra. Sakura nodded. With Shuden landed on the window right next to the Hokage's office. His wings sparked at the connection, and fell off. As they fell, the wings dissolved into mist, and went straight back to the connection point. He went inside the window. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage. I'm glad you're still here. My name is Shuden Sol. Did you get a visit from a guy in a white robe about a year ago? Shuden asked. The Hokage nodded. I take it he also gave you the warning of what would happen if Naruto Uzumaki died before his time, did he not? Another nod. I take it he wasn't lying back then? Shuden shook his head. It wasn't a threat. It will happen as he said it. If the villagers kill him, the village will be decimated. Anyone that has gotten close to Naruto, and those who call him friend sincerely, will be evacuated. The rest will be killed. The entire village will be leveled. The shinobi will all be decimated. The civilians will be slaughtered. Put simply, if the village kills him, the village will be no more. The 3rd Hokage was genuinely scared out of his wits. He didn't think he could get even more scared. I will take care of the evacuation myself. You can expect the Kyuubi to appear as well. Maybe too, if Naruto manages to release his before he dies. You might want to make this clear to the council. Mikagami, can you hear me? Shuden asked the ceiling. Boy was he wrong. Yes I can. Send Issa, Surara and Agaya to this point. We need to make our point made, and our presence known, Shuden said. I take it you see no other way to get the point across? Not with humans. Remember, they are a resilient bunch. Stubborn in the head. They won't believe that any of them will come unless we bring them the proof. The 3 of them will do just fine. I will send 4 of them. Akua, one of Mocha's sisters, has wanted to meet you. She has only heard about you, but she is interested in you. She doesn't see how you managed to change the ways of her pride-stricken father. I will call them over immediately. They will be on the roof of the Hokage's tower in about an hour. Got it. I hope Akua isn't pride-stricken, as well. That would mean another stick to get out of an ass, Shuden said. Issa, supposedly, had already taken care of that. He told her everything you had taught her. She doesn't believe one person could change him this much. She also didn't believe that you managed to get the inner Mocha to release her pride completely. I guess I'll explain everything when they get here. Akua will definitely wonder where Mocha is. I will tell her the truth there. She will be here in a few years, at the least. If she doesn't want to stay here without her, I think I can convince her, Shuden said. I'm not sure she'd like that. You know how vampires are about mind-fuckers. Who said I'll be mind-fucking her? I sure as hell know I didn't, straight up. It could have been implied, but that's not what I intend to do. I just have a feeling I'll be able to convince her. You know how convincing one has to be in order to get a vampire to release their pride completely. A Hades lord, no less. Point taken. I'll send them through. Make sure the roof is clear for the next hour or so. I see. Mikagami, I will see to it that it is, the 3rd Hokage said. Before you say anything, I'm in the 3rd Hokage's office, if you couldn't tell already, Shuden said. I see you still don't miss a beat. Keep that up, and you can argue with your mom Toad and win. Been then, done that, funny as hell. I silenced him for a few months, Shuden said, still not missing the beat. I should shut up now. I still have to call them, Mikagami said before cutting himself out. Saiyan 102, Headmaster 0. Shuden said. Hiruzen was thinking. How am I going to explain this? Naruto would probably appreciate it. But I'm not completely sure. Don't worry about that. He agreed to this before we came in the first place. He knows full well what will happen if he dies at the hands of the villagers. Naruto and the others who know of the plan will be coming, as well. Everything will be explained there, Shuden said. Fine. I will let the elders of all clans in the village know. You let the group who already know of the situation know about the meeting. Agreed. You don't know the full situation, either. That much I can guarantee, Shuden said, walking to the window. I guess I have much to learn. No kidding. Everyone learns something. Even in death, you learn. I should know, after talking with the dead, Shuden said as he climbed out, activating his lightning streaker. He flew off. No wing tackle, this time. I definitely have a lot to learn, with Shuden. Shuden had informed everyone else. The Anbu nodded. We know where a meeting like this would be held. According to the description you were given, we are involved in this, as well, Yugo said. Yukari then spoke up. Aside from these Anbu, only the ones here know anything. If the clan heads are going to be there, we can count Heishi off of the list of our group. That means that everyone that already knows is here. I'm glad we have an hour though, it gives us time. I will go to the meeting point for the others. After that, we will head there with the 3rd Hokage. Understood? Everyone nodded. Then everyone is to go with the Anbu to the location. I will head over to the rendezvous point. Be careful of Mocha's sister, though. Akua may not be as strong as Mocha, but supposedly, she is more dangerous. This was before I had trained Mocha and Issa. Shuden finished. Shuden jumped into the trees. I'll be taking the trees this time around. It's been a while since I've done this, and it looks like I'll be doing so for a while. Might want to get reaccustomed to it. Shuden disappeared into the trees. Shuden got to the top of the Hokage's tower. He still had about 10 minutes left until the appointed time. Sarutobi had arrived. 5 minutes left. 3 minutes later, 2 minutes early, they arrived. Issa. Surara. Agaya. The rules here are simple. Don't reveal your true form until I say it's okay. Only use your full power when training, or if I ask in the meeting. Am I clear? All three of them nodded. Shuden turned to the fourth. He kept his, I am the leader. You will do as I say. Look on. You are Akua Shuzen, are you not? The girl nodded. Something was telling her this guy was dangerous. It seemed like every fiber in her body was screaming at her to run. Shuden noticed this, and smirked. I see you are scared, and for good reason. My name is Shuden Sol. I am the one that Mocha had fallen for. I am also the one that got the sticks out of your father's ass. Do not test me. Her nerves eased when he said his name, but tensed up again when she finished. You are the one that got Mocha to get rid of her pride? Prove it. She said that, but she was still scared. Shuden noticed this. Shuden went into Super Spirit 5. None of them recognized this form. Issa had heard about it from Mocha. Only heard about it, but he knew what happened the first time he used this form. You're going straight to level 5 for this. I didn't think you would go that far, Issa said. I don't recall telling you about this. I take it Mocha did? Shuden asked. Issa nodded. I'm glad I'm not on the receiving end of this. Otherwise, I would be dead. I heard what happened when you first achieved that form from Mocha, yes. It's too bad that I wasn't watching. I would have loved to see you in an utter state of rage. Going against everything you had taught me, Issa said. I'm not surprised you'd say that. In my defense, I was not conscious of what I did at that point. I didn't know of anything. After I sent Mocha off, I could only take the word of my friends in regards to what happened. She told me that, as well. Still, it would have been great to see you doing that. Ripping their limbs off, and obliterating them, damn, that would be a sight to see, Issa said. If it comes down to it, I might actually do that. For the time being, I think I will stay in my normal form. Shuden said, changing back into his normal form as his voice died down back to normal. Let's go. Lord Hokage. The third Hokage nodded. He was sweating underneath his robes. He noticed, but didn't say anything. The Hokage jumped up, old as he is. The rest followed. Agaya was using her wings, but her tail was hidden. Surara was using self-controlled ice wings. Issa was flying like Shuden usually does, but was actually jumping. Akua was wondering where the hell everyone was going. She had no idea what was going on. She was just jumping after her father. Shuden was right behind the Hokage, using the lightning streaker. He wasn't going full speed, and his wings weren't in position for wing tackle, either. He noticed Issa wanted to ask him a question. He went back towards Issa. What do you want to learn this time? How did you get those wings, and why are you using them? Issa asked. I'll explain it when we are done. Focus on the task at hand. Leave everything else out of your mind. Focus on here and now, not later and elsewhere. This works just as well here as it does in a fight. Issa nodded. Understood. I'll hold you to that. Any idea about Mocha? Issa said. None. If I find her, you'll be the first to know. Since I'm here, I can help you all into a place you'll be comfortable in for your stay. The training portal has its advantages. Shuden said, holding up his hand to prevent further questions on the subject. They got to where they were supposed to be in about 3 minutes. All wings retracted. They walked inside, or rather Shuden and the third Hokage walked in. The rest waited outside, in the case they were needed. More likely than not, though, they would be called in, but in case they don't need further convincing, they were to wait outside. The meeting begun. Lord Hokage, why have we been called here? A girl with face markings resembling fangs asked. There are 3 things on today's agenda, all of which are important. Haishi looked at the teenager standing next to the Hokage. Lord Hokage, I take it one of those topics happens to be the arrival of Shuden Sol. Sarutobi nodded. I take it he is the one standing right next to you? Shuden nodded. You do not look like much, but based on what I have heard, and how much my daughter has praised you, I would like to see you in. Action one day. Heishi said. Don't count on it, Heishi. No one here, save a select few, know what I am capable of. None of the ones here was at the receiving end of my fist. Everyone. Shuden looked at his friends and nodded. Why do you, Heishi Hyuga, wish to fight a mere child? A man with a ponytail asked. He knows only bits and pieces of what I have done, and only because of his daughter, Hinata Hyuga. She knows how powerful I am at full strength. Hinata shook her head. I don't know everything, but I know he is much more powerful than he appears. The phrase "don't judge a book by its cover" applies easily here. Naruto, Sukune, and Yukari nodded at Shuden. Sarutobi? The third Hokage nodded. The second topic has to do with Naruto. Uzumaki. He shouldn't even be here for that. A man with black hair and a fan insignia on his shoulder said. Shuden recognized this guy as an Uchiha. On the contrary, Uchiha. He has every right to be here. Especially since he already knows. This caught everybody by surprise, save the children, the Hokage, and Heishi. Who told him? The Uchiha asked the Hokage. Instead, Shuden answered. He found out on his own. Yukari simply reawakened that particular memory. He knows what he is. He knows why he is attacked each year on his birthday. On that note, please continue, Sarutobi. Of course. Naruto Uzumaki knows everything about that night, or so I am told. Yukari Sendo, the young girl with black hair over there, had reawakened his memories of everything. From what I hear, he has access to a new technique regarding the fox. One question. Will everyone here that can do so have to do so? Because there are 3. This caught everyone, save the ones not shocked by Naruto realizing what he really is, by surprise. Sarutobi nodded. Sukune, Naruto, and Hinata nodded. All 3 of them were surrounded by flames, and when the flames disappeared, 2 humanoid foxes and a humanoid cat were standing in their positions. This is our half-state. It combines our beast's form with our own. It also gives us access to new abilities, not to mention, increased senses, Naruto said. In addition, there is our full form transformation. It allows us to take on their form completely, in regards to looks. We still regain our consciousness in both forms, Sukune said. I think that's enough of that. There isn't much else they can comprehend, Shuden said. Now hold on a minute. A man with a ponytail shouted. How is it possible for them to do this? That's a question I will answer. Shuden said. They have all been trained in order to do so. Normally, it wouldn't be impossible, but it would take a long time for that to be able to happen. You could say I helped them out through Sukune. The one with brown fur. He brought it to Naruto, and they brought it to Hinata. Inoichi Yamanaka. I would highly suggest you back down. No more questions on this. Guys? They nodded and went back to their completely human form. As for the third topic, there has been a warning issued. If Naruto Uzumaki is killed before his time, an invasion force exceeding all known limits will come directly here. How this will happen I was not told. I, on the other hand, have. In fact, I know full well how powerful the force will be. You might have an advantage in numbers, but the force will have an advantage over you, Shuden said. What could they possibly have against us? We are the most powerful shinobi village out there. This warning is a waste of time, the Uchiha representative said. Shuden shook his head. They have the advantage in skill. The Uchiha clan won't be able to copy what they can do. In fact, they already know of the jutsu used here. This means they also have the advantage in information. There is no way you would survive the attack in your current state. I'll believe that when you show me proof. The Uchiha shot back. Shuden, not missing a beat, laughed. This sent a lot of people on edge. You honestly believe I would come here to warn you about this without being prepared? Guys, get in here, Shuden said, as the temperature dropped about 20 degrees. Agaya kicked open the door. Surara materialized into ice. Issa warped in. Akua came in through the ceiling and landed on her feet. Issa Shuzen, Hades' Lord, Vampire, and soon-to-be father-in-law of Shuden Sol. Agaya Kurono. Succubus, and my daughter will be here later on, provided the village survives until that time. Surara Shirayuki. Yuki Onna, and my daughter is the soon-to-be wife of one Sukune Aono, who is right there. She will be here later, as well. This is also if the village survives. Akua Shuzan. Vampire, leader of Fairy Tail Main Branch, and user of the Hagetsu Jigento. My sister Mocha will be here, if the place doesn't get itself razed first. Issa Shuzan is my father. These are just 4 of the ones who will come. All of what they say is true, and they will be staying here with me. I have already planned the living arrangements for them. If you don't see the proof standing directly in front of you, we will give you a small demonstration. Starting with Danzo. Danzo was shocked at what this kid was implying. What do you plan on proving with this? A mere jutsu that the Sharingan can't even copy? That would be impossible. The Uchiha had activated his Sharingan, wondering if that were true. Shuden shook his head. He looked at Surara. She nodded. Danzo was frozen where he stood less than 3 seconds later. See what I mean? This isn't even the worst of it. Akua and Issa are the ones here you would have to worry about. The Hokage here would be considered a C rank on a scale. This scale, Agaya is currently a B rank. Surara is also a B rank. Akua, I don't know much about, but given her track record, I would say she was either S rank or sulfur monosulfide rank. Issa on the other hand I trained myself. He is far beyond the others here. He is currently 4-star rank. 1 star is after SSS rank. Anyone with half a brain cell would realize you don't stand a chance if they attack. Shuden said, rising his killing intent, just to prove a point. Then, to add insult to injury, he went into Super Spirit 5. There are only 3 beings here that surpass Issa on that scale. I am one of them. Naruto and Sukune are the others. I am 6-star on that same ranking, and Sukune has made it to 5-star. Naruto is also a 4-star, regardless of his age. Hell, I'm only 15. Do not test us. The last person to do that got himself obliterated by this form. Peeling off each layer of his body, and then utterly decimating the remains. Shuden powered down to his normal form. Yukari, Naruto and Sukune knew what he was talking about. That guy never stood a chance, was their collective thought. As I said, do not test us. Shuden reiterated. Everyone else nodded. Sarutobi was sweating bullets. Heishi was looking at Shuden with massive amounts of both fear and interest. He asked a question, not wondering if it would bite him in the ass later. What is that form? It is not chakra-based, that much is certain. Shuden looked at him. That was my Super Spirit 5 form. Me attaining that form is the entire reason the 6-star rank was implemented. I am currently the only one who can do so. Sukune can go into a similar form, hence why he is 5-star instead of 4-star like Naruto. Everyone gulped. Heishi simply nodded. I think the Hyuga Council wouldn't believe this. Do you mind if I borrow Akua for the time being? See how her fighting style fares against the Gentle Fist? Mainly to prove a point to them. Shuden looked at Akua. Fine by me. I'm always looking for new challenges, and I hear that the Jayuken is one of the most feared. I'd be glad to, but I always go for the kill. Remember that. Heishi nodded. I'll be sure that they get the picture. Shuden, I doubt she'll listen to me, but she should listen to you. I think you should come along. Shuden saw where he was going with this. I wouldn't worry. Some of the members on the council are idiots, and if they don't see the warning as real, they can go up against Akua. Granted, they'll die, but then they made their choice. From what she just said, Akua is a kill or be killed kind of fighter. Status doesn't matter. She doesn't show mercy, nor will she take it. Am I right? Akua nodded. How you managed to figure all that out this quickly, I have no idea. I guess there is some truth to you knocking the pride out of Mocha, after all. Shuden smirked. You can count on Fairy Tail to help out if you're going to attack. We will gladly take care of them. Yet another batch I don't know much about. Shuden thought. Everyone else was silent. By the way, Goku said that if any of them die before their time, he and Vegeta are going to come down as well. They both agreed to it already. In fact, Vegeta suggested it to Goku. If Yukari dies, he will come regardless of whether or not Goku or the others want to. He's gonna kill the bastard. Those were his exact words. Issa said. This sent the Jinchuriki, Sakura, and Shuden on edge. Oh shit. That means if Yukari gets killed period. Yet another warning for the peanut gallery. No kidding. The last time he went berserk on someone, and I have a feeling he will, he vaporized his opponent. Sukune said. Sakura spoke up. Kuyu? The one that called him a monkey? Sukune nodded. It's been said several times before, and now I'm going to say it. A pissed off Vegeta is something I wouldn't recommend to anyone who doesn't have a death wish. Shuden nodded. Vegeta thinks of Yukari like he thinks of his daughter Bra. When someone proposed to Bra, he almost killed the guy. Bra is the only reason he survived. He's always had a soft spot for her. Anyone else, especially if he has a challenge, he acts like his 5-star rank. If he is pissed off, he's worse than I am in Super Spirit 5. We're done here. Guys? The group of kids and the Yukai left. The Hokage turned to the others. I'm pretty sure you don't want to cross paths with them. After hearing how the kids have been training, I wouldn't want to go up against them. That gravity warp, and weights, it's nerve-wracking. He said, making sure no one heard that last part. The representative from the Inuzuka clan heard him and started sweating. She steeled her nerves. Lord Hokage, I would like to request an audience with you regarding Shuden Sol. This caught everyone, even Heishi, by surprise. There is nothing left on the matter to say. It's not about him, per se, but his abilities. Something about them is troubling me. Sarutobi nodded. I have an idea of what you will ask. They are not chakra-based. His abilities are not gained from chakra, or rather, not from what I have heard. Simply put, what he uses puts chakra to shame on several levels. The temperature dropped about 10 degrees. His abilities can be used with chakra, but it is close to impossible, Surara said, as she appeared. He uses techniques that can use chakra, but he uses something else. His main energy source is ki. Highly destructive, but in the right situations, highly useful. Another he uses is spiritual energy. He channels it into his eyes, allowing him to gain another ability. You saw the star in his eyes, did you not? That star is an upgraded form of his special eye. I will not name it, mainly because I do not know the name myself, but supposedly, he has used something known as the Amaterasu with it. Doing some research, I found that it is, in fact, chakra-based. I figure you would know about that. It didn't even affect him like it should have, according to my studies. This brought everyone out of their stupor. Everyone in the room was officially scared. The only one able to use that technique was Uchiha Madara. The Uchiha had remembered the stories of it, but that's all they were, at the time. No one had believed it actually existed. The Mangekyo Sharingan? Impossible. He would be blind, if it affected him, the Uchiha was musing to himself. Surara caught him. It is not what you think, Uchiha. He has merely seen that technique with his eye. It suppressed the negative effects, as well. I believe he knows of others, but not many. I don't even know how many possess that eye, much less the details of it. With the others, Heishi had gone ahead and left with the rest. He managed to catch up with them. Damn, these guys are fast. I'm hard-pressed just to keep up. Akua went back. I'm surprised you managed to keep up with us so far. Heishi nodded. As am I. Still, you've got a lot to learn. We're not even going half of our full speed. Heishi nodded. Knew that. His look said it, and Akua caught it. You're not even surprised. He shook his head. Hang on for a second. I think I do something for you. She went up to Shuden and asked him a question. He sent everyone a message to stop. Heishi landed on a branch, falling on his rear end, his back to the trunk. I knew you guys were fast, but really, even my own daughter is keeping up. She's already surpassed me in several ways, Heishi said. Shuden answered him. That was about 0.003% of my full speed. The rest are not at that level yet. I'm basically the fastest one here. The rest happen to be using anywhere from 10% to 45% of their top speed. You on the other hand were having a tough time keeping up. He pulled out a bean and tossed it to Heishi. Eat that, and you'll be good. It's called a senzu bean. It's similar to the soldier pills here, but it's more potent. Even more so, you won't be eating for a few days. You'll still need to drink, but that's about it. Heishi ate it. He got up, wondering how effective it was. It worked. He was still a little tired, but he felt renewed. I feel like my chakra has increased 100-fold. It didn't. Your chakra will be replenished by the bean you just ate. It will draw from it when your chakra is not at full capacity. In addition, you will be full for at least 10 days. 21 days is the maximum recorded so far. Still, on average they last about 14 to 15 days. It depends on what you do during that time, and how much you do of it. Shuden said. Heishi nodded. Let's get going. Akua, if you'd kindly follow. Me. Shuden nodded. Kick their asses. Akua smiled. I like his thinking. No wonder Mocha fell for him. I think I've started falling as well. Heishi and Akua went off, while the rest went back to Sukune's place. The portal was still there, but it wasn't active. This is how the living arrangements can be made. The portal does more than just transport one to the training area, Shuden said as he opened a panel. Another panel? Sukune asked. Shuden nodded. Surara will want to memorize the numbers 44,351. That will send her to an area completely made of ice. There is already a building there, and she will be able to decorate it as she pleases. He looked at Issa. You will want to remember the numbers 99,274. That one has a building similar to yours back home. The landscape may be a little different, but it should do. He turned his head to Agaya. You're going to want to remember 80,913. That will send you to a place that should be to your liking. He turned his head back to the panel. If you punch in the number 9 5 times, you will open up a keyboard. That keyboard will allow you to access certain areas if you have a description. Punching in 0 5 times will open up the training grounds. Any questions? Sukune raised his hand. Is there a way to head back to Yukai Academy with this? Or maybe even my parents? That's what the keyboard is for. Type in the location name, some of the surrounding, and description you can give. You would end up there. However, if you do so like that, without another portal, you will not be able to get back. The keyboard is a one-way ticket out, and can be used for quick escapes. The only drawback is that when you head through, anyone who knows its location already will be able to use it to their advantage, as well, Shuden said. Actually, Shuden, the headmaster had figured something out. He left the portal you had there. Is it possible for that one to be used for this? Issa asked. Shuden raised an eyebrow. I guess he has more quirks than I realized. Still, it will come in handy. That will make quick access to and from Yukai Academy, Shuden said, clearly impressed. If any of you wish to go back to Yukai Academy, I'll have to head there first and reconfigure it. That one was only meant to access 2 areas. The Undimension, and my training grounds. This one has many more embedded into the system already. Shuden was already typing away on the keyboard. There. It may take a bit, but I'll be back. He went in the portal, wondering how long it would take. About 15 minutes later, though it felt like more, he came back through the portal. It's all set. I even expanded the one over there, to use it for the invasion, should it be needed. Akua walked up. I see you did something with the portal. Mind telling me what? He just made an easy way back to Yukai Academy. It seemed like hours, Sakura said. Actually, it's only been about 15 minutes. I got done resizing and reconfiguring in about 10 minutes, let Mikagami know, and came back. From the time I reached the other side, to the time I came back, it took about 14 minutes. The trip itself doesn't take long, but it does have a few bugs in the time stream. I'd have to work on that here. Fortunately, It shouldn't take more than a few days with the resources here. After that, the trip should go much faster. I wouldn't be going back anyway, Shuden. I'd like to stay here, at least until my daughter comes here. If nothing else, to keep you in line. Issa said, his tone forced. Shuden simply sighed. You know you can't defeat me, but there's nothing to worry about. Kurumu went after me. I chose Mocha. Yukari went after me. I chose Mocha. Hell, when Ruby went after me, I chose Mocha. I had to be much more gentle with her than the others, though. She had been through a lot, and I didn't want to add to her pain. Besides, she understands my feelings, and didn't even bat an eye when I told her my choice. Mizore didn't go after me. She was too caught up with Sukune to even notice me. I didn't really care about that. I know how to handle girls, if nothing else. Fighting is in my blood, and so is love. It's my mother's fault for the latter, and the fact many girls go after me. Agaya shook when he said he rejected Kurumu. A succubus. Rejected? Why reject the ones who love more than any other? I had already chosen Mocha at that point. I don't intend on leaving her for someone else, just because she had a big rack. Yes, I noticed. No, I didn't care. I let her know how I felt about her, and she stuck around. She was a friend and nothing more. Even at that point. I would risk my life to save her. I don't abandon my friends, whether they be Yukai, human, a combination, or none of the above. I don't give a shit about what they are. I only care about who they are. Among the things I can't stand, rapists are at the top of the list. I respect women, and I would kill a rapist without much hesitation. I'd still hold back enough to not destroy the area. Saizo learned that the hard way, after his second bout with me. Issa stood, gaping at him. Akua noticed his face, and almost gaped at her own father. Almost. Instead, she slapped him back into this world. It took her 4 hits to do so. Looking like that is unbecoming of a vampire. Especially of a Hades Lord. She told him. Sakura looked at her. Hades Lord. I heard about them from my mother. Those stories scared the crap out of me when I was younger. Why would one gape at Shuden like that? Mr. Issa, do you mind telling me about the Hades Lords? I'd like to find out any holes I'm missing, if there are any. Sakura asked him. Akua looked at Sakura. How do you even know about the Hades Lords? They're not even from around here. I've only heard stories of them. One in particular was a fight between some guy named Alucard and the Shinso. I heard that the Shinso became the Hades Lords after that. There's not much else I know, Sakura said, gleaming with confidence. Akua cocked her head a bit, but no one noticed. Shuden wasn't even paying much attention, at least, to their words. He was aware of their presence, but that was about it. I'm surprised you even know about Alucard. The two of us should talk elsewhere. I'll find out what you know, and then tell you the true story. As it actually happened. Sakura nodded and they went off into the trees to talk. What's with them? Naruto asked, clearly clueless. Girls. The one thing a man can never get. Sukune said. Agaya looked at them both with rage. I'm only stating the truth. Guys are somewhat clueless when it comes to women. Shuden being an exception. The only one I know of, at that. I also have a feeling that when he walks into the village, girls are going to start talking. He'd probably attract a Junin or two as well. Sukune said, in his defense. I wouldn't be surprised if all the girls fell for me. I can almost guarantee that at least 50% of the females in the village, aged 7 years and above, will fall for me. This doesn't include married couples, or engaged couples. Shuden spoke up, surprising everyone but Yukari. She knew he was paying attention to what they were saying. Neither would you have that effect on girls, Shuden. Your mother's influence, no doubt. Probably still trying to get you to start a harem. Shuden shrugged. She's been doing that all my life. Even more so after I started attending Yukai Academy. I swear, sometimes I think she's obsessed. Every time someone came to the mountain I lived on, there were a few girls in the group. At first, I thought it was a coincidence, but something told me otherwise. Apparently, she's been trying to get me to start one since I was 5. I just didn't realize it until she came to me. That's when it all made sense. Going to Yukai Academy wasn't the best idea you've ever had, was it? Naruto asked. Not really my idea. I was told by Nekonomiya-sensei that my mother wanted me to go there instead of with my kind. Mocha has met my mother, as she came to me when I was alone with her. I scared the hell out of Hades when he saw what I could do. Okay. A small taste of what I could do. How ironic. Some actually scared the hell out of Hades. Granted, he had reason to be. It's still funny as I remember it. Issa looked at him. Okay Issa, I get it. I didn't do much. I originally took down Saizo with more power than I used to scare him. He was testing me out, but I was bored out of my mind. Not once did I go for a weapon like the two there thought I would. Shuden got hit in the head. No one else had arrived, and no one was close enough to hit him. Sakura and Akua were out a ways, and he used his spirit eye to find them. Giggling, he started reading their lips. Their conversation went like this. Sakura, wow. I didn't know you could do that from this distance. Akua, Hagetsu Jigento has its uses. You could also use it to keep others in line. Just like that. Akua, you're playing a dangerous game, Shuden thought. Sakura, do you think you could teach it to me? Shuden probably doesn't know how to use it, and you're so good at it. I'd like you to teach me that, if you want. Sakura, that's not completely true. I can use something similar to the Hagetsu Jigento. I call it Dimensional Strike. Thank you for letting me know that was Akua. Sakura heard this voice and had one thought, which she voiced. Oh. He knows. That was enough for Akua to know who she was talking about, and what he knew. Akua, is he spying on us? Sakura, probably because of the blow to his head. Yes, and yes. Sakura looked around. How? Spirit Eye. I could teach you the Dimensional Strike, but Akua would not be able to teach you the Jigento. You lack the Yuki energy needed to use it. Chakra cannot be used for that, but can be used for the Dimensional Strike. Sakura, but mine isn't even active. How can you? Never mind. It's the long-distance sight. Correct again. You learn quick. I have a feeling that you will have a lot to learn, but only in other areas. I will teach you myself. The Dimensional Strike will be later on, but you, Hinata, and Naruto will have at least Junin level control by the time you enter the academy in a year. I'll teach you more about taijutsu, since that would be your weakest point. The Dimensional Strike isn't even considered a jutsu, so you don't really have to announce it, Shuden said. Okay, but just know I won't be using it on you. I don't have a death wish. Shuden chuckled. They came back to find him chuckling. What's so funny? You confront someone who can be more dangerous than the Kyuubi about information, yet you don't have a death wish. I find that to be slightly funny. Naruto and Sukune looked at him. Shuden got up and walked over to the girls. Akua is only more dangerous when she's in a bad mood. The Hagetsu Jigento that she uses is basically on par with Gogeta's deadly force. His Big Bang Kamehameha would be nothing compared to it, especially when being used by a pissed-off Akua. She's like Vegeta in that regard. Sukune, Naruto and Hinata started shaking. Sakura looked surprised. I guess I shouldn't make her mad then. I heard about Vegeta and his temper isn't a good thing to be directed at you. Everyone present, aside from Akua and Sakura, nodded. No kidding. Sukune has said this, I have said this, and Goku says it all the time. He really does. Just rarely seen on screen. A pissed-off Vegeta is not something I wouldn't recommend to anyone without a death wish, and I think I gave him quick access to Yukari's killer, if she does die. Things are going much better than expected, if you don't count the fact concerning Vegeta. Before you say anything about the lightning streaker being overpowered, I will tell you this. Its defensive capabilities are its strongest point. The wing tackle is both offensive and defensive, and Pulsar is good for eliminating a shitload of clones. There's not much else it can do. Also, they function similar to the energy wings in Code Geass, which I don't own, but look more like the wings in Legend of the Dragoon. Just to be sure. Disclaimer. I don't own Code Geass, or Legend of the Dragoon. Now that that's out of the way, I will say this. After June 30th I may not be able to upload anything for a while. Don't get mad. AG004. Get glad Forceflex. AG000. Why did you say that? AG004. Just for the heck of it. AG000. Not funny. Okay, it was a little funny. On the last one, Optimus was right. I did intend on placing this in that section. AG002. We all know where it fits most. Shuden, on the other hand, I have no idea. AG001. I second that. AG003. I have several ideas, one of which, I'm sure you'd agree. AG000. I agree with that. Looks at AG003. Number 4 would be best for him. AG004. Which is the one the others would agree to? AG003. Bingo. AG001. Don't leave us hanging. AG002. Fill us in. Silence. AG000. Not telling. AG004. Same here. AG003. Figure it out yourself. Shuden walks in. Hey guys. What's shaking? AG002. Where do you think you belong? Shuden. Here. Why do you ask? AG000. Why does he have to do this? AG004. Agreed. Shuden whistles. That's rare. AG001. Number kidding. They rarely agree on anything. Shuden. Not that. That. Shuden points on the wall. Anime face fault by everyone in the room. Save AG003. AG003. You like it? Shuden. Sure do. I mean the way he goes at them with no fear, it's heartwarming, and somewhat nostalgic. AG003. I don't see why you'd say nostalgic. All your fights so far have been one-sided. Mainly due to your massive strength, your spirit eye, and their arrogance. Shuden. True, but something is telling me I've done more. AG003. What makes you say that? Shuden. AG000 based me off of him, right? AG003 nods. 004, the original did that, did he not? Another nod. The two of them are actually one person. Just two beings. AG003 nods. Therefore, by default, I have done so. AG003 face faults. Shuden. Did I do something wrong? Inner Mocha. Clueless as ever, still a hottie though. Outer Mocha. Not to mention he's ours. Shuden. Hey Mocha. What are you two doing here? Inner Mocha. We got the script for the next few chapters. He wanted ideas on our entrance, and we came up with a few things. Outer Mocha. I even got one for Mizor. I have suggestions for the teams, as well. They follow the one girl, two guy rule, mostly. Shuden. Mind if I take a look? Inner Mocha. Not at all. Outer Mocha. I have a few problems with that. The teams are for his eyes only right now. If he says otherwise, I'll let you see them. I don't want him getting rid of me completely, you know. AG000. I wouldn't do that just yet. Let me take a look. Reads her suggestions. Wow, I like your way of thinking. In fact, most of these things I agree with, and was planning on doing. Shuden. So, AG000. Not telling you just yet. You'll find out soon enough. Sarutobi is gonna get a few complaints about this, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind. Ura? Inner Mocha. Fine. AG000. Loosen up. I may have based Shuden off of me, but I won't be heading after you myself. You aren't really my speed. I prefer other types of girls. I guess there's a difference, after all. Reads the suggestions. AG000 goes wide-eyed. Shuden and Inner Mocha. What? AG000. I'll have to think about the fifth idea on this list. The rest is already in progress. As for Kurumu, you had that one right. That's exactly where she would come in. Sarutobi's gonna live to see another day. Shuden. What do you mean? AG000. Read the 17th paragraph. He tosses the paper to Shuden. Shuden. Not bad. I kind of like the guy. He's a good person, no matter what threatens him. He prefers to avoid fighting when possible, but does fight when needed. Agoo. Why am I not surprised? Don't answer that. Sakura walks in. Shuden, it's time to start. Inner Mocha. What's she talking about? Shuden. I'm training her. By the way, Ura. Akua was looking for you. She said to meet her at 6th and 12th. Shuden warps out. Inner Mocha. Why me and not you, Outer Mocha? She thinks you're the real us. This much I can gather. Agoo. She's somewhat obsessed. At least it's not as bad as Aphrodite wanting Shuden to start a harem. Inner Mocha. True. Outer Mocha. So very true. Agoo. Peace out. New arrivals disclaimer. I don't own Rosario plus Vampire. I don't own Naruto Shippuden. Chapter 3. New arrivals, new friends somewhere in the Fire Country. Two women were at a bar. One was drinking sake, the other was holding a pig. The one drinking had blonde hair, what seemed like a blue diamond on her forehead, and was wearing green, mostly. She had 4 inches high heels, and looked about 26 years old. Her jacket said slug on the back. Shizune, what did you just say about that village? She asked the other woman. This woman had black hair, was wearing a completely black outfit, minus a white undershirt, just visible over the collar. If you were looking for it, you'd see that something was in her left sleeve, but otherwise, you wouldn't see it. The pig was wearing a shirt, and had a pearl necklace. I have heard Naruto Uzumaki has found out everything and stood up to the council. Apparently, the council was scared shitless of that. I also heard about some new arrivals there, as well. As for who they are, no one really knows. It seems to me that those new arrivals had really been the ones to scare THM out of their wits. After all, Naruto has yet to gain control over it. Shizune looked at the older woman. Tsunade-sensei, what are you thinking? The first woman, Tsunade, simply stated, we're going to see these new arrivals. Something tells me that these guys are something else. They may be able to train him in ways never thought possible. If they don't like the council, that's good enough for me. Lady Tsunade, I don't think they like the council for reasons unknown to anyone else, but, Shizune said, being cut off by someone behind her. I hear the new arrivals in Konoha scared the shit out of the village council. One of them even took down some of the Hyuga clan council with a fighting style that was completely unknown to anyone. Do you think he had a vendetta against them? This shook Tsunade out of her drunken state. What do you mean? The guy turned around and looked at Tsunade. The one that did this had some sort of relationship with the one they call Demon Brat. You think it's possible for that to be a vendetta? The guy said. It could be. I'd be heading there to find out, anyway. Something tells me that these new arrivals in Konoha are not mere ninja. Why they would do something like that would make sense if they had a thing for the kid. Otherwise, I highly doubt that. It could be just a test of strength. Tsunade said. Shizune, we're leaving. Now. Tsunade got up and headed toward the door. At the village 3 Hyuga clan council members were dead at the hands of Akua. They were being buried, and given a funeral. None of the new arrivals, Naruto, Hinata or Sakura came. Heishi didn't want to come, but he had to because he was the clan leader. He had to resist telling the corpses, I told you so, and you didn't listen. After the funeral, Akua went up to Heishi. Heishi, I actually liked fighting one of them. He knew he was outmatched, but he continued. That kind of determination from my opponent is what I love. My love for that is second only to my sister. More like stupidity. He didn't give up due to his pride. He would be sacrificing his pride if he gave up. It didn't matter if he was outmatched. That Hagetsu Jigento will come in handy one day. I just know it, Heishi said. I don't see the problem with pride. My father may have changed, but I haven't. Why he got rid of his pride is beyond me, Akua said. I heard that he didn't get rid of his pride completely. He only lost it during a fight, or rather, disregarded it. He found out that he was outmatched in every way, shape and form. Who could possibly outmatch him and manage to change his ways? Akua asked. Shuden Sol. I heard he did some work on the guy. Insulted him where his pride took the blow. He was proud of his pride back then. To have it insulted, he took it hard. As to how he did that, you'd have to ask him. So far, only the two of them know how it happened. Heishi said. At least, as far as I know. I'll have to ask him about it. Anyway, I'd like to see Neji for a second. I wanted to ask him something. Akua said, oddly out of character. I don't see what's going on, or do I? He's inside. Come on in. Heishi said. One of the living council members took one look and ran off. Looks like they're still scared stiff of me for what I did to those three. By the way, why let me in? I know I beat up part of your council to prove a point, but still, why? Akua asked. You're a friend of Shuden. He is a friend of my daughter. As such, I will trust you. I have heard several things of Shuden, most of which would make seasoned Junin tremble. That's not easy to do around here. Even when the Kyuubi no Yoko attacked and was sealed inside a little boy, nobody was afraid, especially not the Junin. Yet when I told one of them what I had heard, things were, well, surprising. The guy had murdered several rogue shinobi without a single thought. Yet he shivered so bad, and I could tell he was thoroughly scared. I'm not about to cross a friend of his, especially when my daughter somewhat idolizes him. If he weren't taken, I'd have Hinata go after him. Who she chose though, I'm not really surprised. Why not? Akua asked, as they were walking. The place was big, even if it didn't look like it from the outside. Because they are both Jinchuriki. She has the 2 tails sealed within. He has the 9 tails. The 2 of them are mostly feared, however. The 2 tails came in and I caught her heading towards Hinata one night. She said someone had sent her there to help out an old friend of hers. She said her name was Neko and no one was to know. She wasn't supposed to be told until after she became a ninja, and attained Shunin rank. How she knows about it now is beyond me. Heishi said, a little confused at the thought. I think I can explain that. My father told me she was, in fact, told after some guy named Orochimaru attacked a village of some sort. Which one, I'm not sure. Besides, there's something else you should know. Akua said before Neji appeared right before them. Looks like I'll have to tell you later. Neji, I have a question to ask you. Neji looked at Akua. What do you want with me, scum? Akua was about to get mad, until Heishi said something. Neji, be more respectful. Remember, she could easily do to you what she did to the council members. Akua looked at Heishi. She turned her head back to Neji. Would you like to learn the Hagetsu Jujento? I figured out how to use it with chakra, and the Hyuga clan should be able to use it, from what I saw. Their fighting style is similar. Unless Hinata doesn't hold back, you'd be able to defeat any member of any branch. In addition, I came up with a few things myself using it. Things the creator of the technique doesn't know. It could be highly useful to someone like you. Why not teach it to Hinata? Heishi asked. Because Hinata is learning Shuden's variant, as is Sakura. Akua said, obviously not missing a beat. Okay. Then why not teach it to someone with more experience? Heishi asked. That's because it can be taught early on in life, with no fighting experience or battle skills. I was self-taught. I started at only 5 years old. Neji's already 7. He also has more experience in fighting than I did at the time. I mean, I had none. Even as a vampire, the only fighting I ever did to that point was with my mother, and that was with words. Then I started working on that, and started living with Mocha. No one but Mocha knew until I went up against Akasha Bloodriver. She's dead now, but not because of me. I wish it were, though, Akua said. Heishi was about to say something, but Neji had already formed his answer. I'll do it. This surprised Heishi a bit. Are you sure about this, Neji? It's not like you don't have a choice in the matter. I'm doing it for my own reasons. Besides, if I get killed, nothing will get out, Neji said. Akua sighed. For a normal person. Shuden had copied the Byakugan from your father Neji. He even told Sakura more about the Jujento than I knew myself, and that was after she had asked to learn it. I asked for his help in finding a way to do what he said hasn't been done. After fighting the Hyuga Council, I can honestly say the two are similar. This means there has to be a way to use mine with chakra, and I asked him to help me find it. We managed to find it somewhat easily. Neji will be the first one to learn it from a master. Self-taught master, but a master nonetheless. Heishi nodded. You will learn her fighting style as well? Not likely. If his fighting style is the same as the council, then it should be no problem combining the two to cause some seriously destructive results. There are rules to using this technique, though. I will let you know what they are when we begin. Am I clear? Neji nodded. Akua continued. Good. Hinata and Sakura will be meeting with Naruto and Sukune in a few weeks to continue their training. Until then, rest up. You're gonna need it. Very well, then. I'll be heading out, Lord Heishi, Neji said, earning a nod from Heishi. Neji went outside and sunshined out. You know, ninja are the only ones that do that. I don't know why, but it seems boring to me. I prefer the warp. The warp? Something else Shuden can do? Heishi asked, making Akua nod. Also, I felt there was a seal on him. If that seal constricts his energy usage, it won't be easy to learn the technique. If that's the case, then I'd have to have it removed. The caged bird doesn't seal abilities. It gives us a way to control the lower branches. They regularly despise the main branch, as do most that don't respect the Byakugan. You should probably work on that. Earn their trust. Either way, Shuden will be getting rid of it, and any sticks up his ass, while he's at it. He won't be a problem when we're done with him. Of that, I am certain. Akua said. I'm glad my father taught me how to fly. It helps a lot. I would imagine. How exactly do you do that, anyway? Heishi asked. Can't say. Maintain the advantage over the opponent. Telling you that would get rid of one advantage should we attack. You get what I mean? Heishi nodded, and Akua flew off. With Shuden, the Hokage called Shuden in. Shuden came in, and found that someone that shouldn't have been informed is there. Sarutobi. You rang? Shuden said. The Hokage nodded. A man with a scar across his nose was in the room. Be more respectful, this is. Calm down, Uruka. It is perfectly fine. He may be young, but he is more powerful than I ever was. It would be wise not to provoke him. Shuden, this is Uruka. When Naruto goes to the academy he will be taught by Uruka, Sarutobi said. I take it you wanted me to inform him of a few things regarding Naruto's abilities? There are a few things I won't say, due to reasons he's not allowed to know. Other than that, I'll give his basic abilities that will be needed. Only the ones that are considered ninja techniques, he will know about them. Some, I will leave out due to security reasons. No one here knows how to do that, except maybe a guy by the name of Kakashi Hitaki. The reason being, the one who created the original was close to him, and would have been close to Naruto, had he been alive. Sarutobi nodded, then his face went into shock. Are you saying he mastered the raise? Shuden cut him off right there. Yes. He's even upgraded it. 3 times, I might add. He has learned it, enhanced it, and above all else made it his own. Why am I not surprised? The Hokage sighed. Probably because you knew it would happen sooner or later. Definitely not this early, but you still knew. He knows about it because of me. He upgraded it with some help from me, but only with ideas. Shuden said, earning a nod. Let him know, then. Only what should be found out. Shuden started explaining the specialties of Naruto and Sukune as well. When he was done, Sarutobi was wondering why he included Sukune. His question was answered before he could ask it, courtesy of Shuden. Sukune will be joining the academy, as well. They will both pass, no doubt. If anything, once they get separated into teams, Sukune and Naruto should be in one squad. The other, I have no problems with, being as they are always 3-man teams. Hinata and Sakura would be a good thing for teamwork. Do you see where I am going with this? Hiruzen nodded. Why do you wish for Sukune to become a ninja, like Naruto? It's his choice, not mine. I'm not about to argue with him about it, and he wants to do so. It will give him a good incentive on his life. Being helpless most of his life, I helped him like I did a few others. I helped more than others due to the situation. He wishes to stick with Naruto mainly because they are friends, and I happen to agree. They would work much better together than without the other. I have seen them both in action together. This experience is from the place Sukune is from. I have seen their abilities firsthand, and even improved them myself, Shuden said. Shuden made a hand sign. If you see either of them make this hand sign, don't be afraid of what pops out. It won't hurt you, unless they wanted to. As a test of courage, you could ask them to perform an A90. They'll make the hand sign, and perform the summon I mentioned earlier. What pops out I won't say, but make sure that it's not in the village itself. Don't want to cause a panic, especially if the panic is because of the summon. Also, if it changes form, things will be a lot easier for the others to handle. The thing's been taken out by them time and again, mainly for training purposes. Why would a summon cause a panic? They usually just come in, fight, give a message, do something, and then leave. Why would it cause a panic? Iruka asked. Shuden shrugged. Tenshou. Iruka and Shuden glowed, and disappeared. What the hell? What did he do? The Hokage asked, seemingly to no one. With Iruka and Shuden were standing in a field of flowers. This field looked nothing similar to anything around Konoha. Where am I? What is this place? Iruka asked. You could say that we're in a mindscape. This mindscape in particular belongs to Sukune. You and I will find someone here that he will be able to summon with the A90. Shuden looked behind himself. Perfect timing. You should come out in your half state. It would be easier, and he wouldn't really freak out as much. A humanoid fox with 9 tails appeared. What is it, Shuden? Did you bring him here to prove a point? If you want me to fight him here, and he dies, he will be lost here forever. I know he will. He doesn't stand a chance against you anyway. I've actually come for a bit of an explanation. Why did Sukune actually want to become a ninja? I know Naruto is one reason, but there's bound to be more, knowing the way he became under my guidance. Shuden said. The fox humanoid was looking at Iruka. Iruka Amino. I think I remember you. You were supposed to be Naruto's teacher and his first friend. Iruka shuddered. How do you know who I am? And what do you mean, his first friend? He's not completely aware of the situation at hand. This is the Kyuubi no Kitsune. The one you may know as the demon that attacked the village 6 years ago. They call him a Yoko because of his destructive capabilities. In truth, he is a Kitsune, and a powerful one at that. Sukune and Naruto both have him sealed within. Most of the things that happened last time he was here, mainly in Naruto's case, things will have changed. The timeline may be the same, but some events will change. You won't be able to rely on his history, but it can give him an idea of what's coming up next, Shuden said. He's right. I saw Naruto's life from start to finish. I initially hated him, and that damned 4th Hokage. I still don't like the Hokage, but Naruto taught me a few things. He showed me how to get rid of my anger, my hatred. Forgive and forget. That is one thing that stuck with me, and I found Sukune Aono. Searching for one to replace Naruto. He had a similar personality. Kyuubi looked at Shuden. To answer your question, Naruto is one reason, the other is for battle experience. He may have some from his time with you, but he is going for any and all experience he can get. Something's bugging him about it, as well. He feels that sticking with Naruto will allow him to find Mizore. This is all I know. Since our soul bond connects our souls, I know what he was thinking when he made that decision. Mizore Shirayuki was the predominant thought at that exact point. I see. So he figures that sticking with Naruto will lead him to Mizore? I didn't think of that. It will help them both in the long run anyway. They work great as a team. Agreed. Shuden, I think you should go. He is getting ready to summon me. All right. Iruka? Iruka nodded. Tenshou. Iruka and Shuden glowed and left. Kyuubi was summoned, so he went poof. Hokage's office. The Hokage was talking with Heishi when a light entered the room. Out of said light, Shuden and Iruka appeared. Lord Hokage, I thank you. I realize what has been going on. I shall take my leave now, Iruka said, earning a nod. Heishi, I believe that you and Shuden have similar ideas. The Hyuga Council won't agree with your decision, unless Shuden agrees. Then they will throw in their HNDS. I don't know exactly what Akua did, but I guess you should thank her, Sarutobi said, making Heishi shake his head. She is already being repaid. In the eyes of the council, at least. This is for letting the caged bird seal to be removed from Neji Hyuga. Personally, I believe she deserves more than this. They don't wish to go against her, or Shuden for that matter. For all they know, Shuden could have trained her. I didn't train her personally. I think Issa did that. This was after I had come here. About my comment with the teams. I still think Hinata or Sakura will do just fine. I had suggested Sakura or Hinata for Naruto's team, myself. It's too bad that only one female can be a part of any squad, Heishi said, earning nods from the others. Shuden came up with an idea. I just thought of something. Would it be possible to include an extra member in a team if the number of graduates wasn't divisible by 3? I don't see why not, but if this is the case, that extra person would be going to a random team. Would he not? The Hokage nodded. However, I believe that a lot of people will listen to Shuden. If anything else happens, I believe his recommendation would be correct. The council will want Shuden to train one in the Uchiha clan. Sasuke Uchiha, to be more precise. An Uchiha female, the wife of the one who was at the meeting, asked me for this. Her son Sasuke is not meeting his father's standards. Not by a long shot. I could easily add in the effect of something else, but that I will not say just yet. It should happen in a few years' time. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow. I've seen more than you think. His mother is likely to die in an event, and Sasuke will be forced to live on, unable to save her. More likely than not, he will take the path of an avenger. This is what influenced me to agree. She doesn't know my reasoning behind this, and it's best if no one else knows. Sasuke himself, and his mother shall be the only ones to know. I will work on him, and make sure he doesn't take the path of an avenger. The timeline here has already altered with my presence alone, but the future is never absolute. Iruka nodded. The one we talked to said the same thing. Things will change with the interference of Shuden, but that won't change everything. Sarutobi nodded. There is nothing else for me to say. You may leave. Heishi nodded and left. Sarutobi, whenever I am in here. Words said in here cannot be heard through even enhanced hearing. No one can see who is in here either, even with the spirit eye. This is a lot better off than if it were specialized for the Byakugan, but not the spirit eye. How so? Byakugan may be able to see chakra, but if you can't find the body, you can't see the chakra. The spirit eye can detect an aura. If the barrier does not provide protection from this, things can still get out, through reading the lips alone. Because of this, I made it keep everyone in undetectable to the spirit eye, as long as I am in here. Or rather, anyone who has the spirit eye will activate it automatically. This means that Sakura Haruno, Naruto Uzumaki, Sukune Aono, and myself will automatically activate it the moment we enter the room. Our spirit eye will not activate in response, so we can still keep that a secret. About the Rasengan. How exactly did he upgrade it? That you will have to find out later. He has been told not to use it outside of training until he is at least a genin. Sukune can also use it to the same extent as Naruto can. The 3 upgrades do not include the ones used only in half-state or full fox. And those are the most dangerous. The rules regarding those forms have been explained to them, but they weren't explained to the council. I'd like to keep it that way. Shuden said. I'll take my leave now. He warped out. With Akua, a few weeks later Akua, true to her word, was going to train Neji. She had prepared everything ahead of time, so she knew what to do. While Hinata was off in another area through the portal, Neji and Akua were in a somewhat dead forest. Neji, before we begin, there are rules for you using this technique. First off, it's too powerful to use frequently, so overuse is not a good idea unless you want to die. Second, do not use it in the academy. Doing so will raise suspicions. Third, never use it on a teammate, whether they are annoying or not. They will be more useful without use of it on them than if it is used. Fourth, it is a lot more destructive when done right than when done wrong. For this reason, if you find yourself in a 1v1 fight, away from others, using it a few times would be okay, but not more than twice. After that, the smarter ones will pick up on it and try to avoid it. Finally, you must never tell anyone you learned this technique from me. About Rule 3. Is it possible to give smack to a pervert from a distance? I get tired of males being perverted. They give us a bad name, Neji said. It's possible. I did so to Shuden once. Sakura got a kick out of it. She had the same idea you did, but my reason for it was just for the amusement. I agree with her reasoning, though. Perverts are a menace. Tell me about it. The one thing I hate more than perverts are fangirls. Although, I'm sure they don't go on the list of ones to use it on. Neji said. Akua nodded. You catch on quick. Let's begin. With Sakura, same time Shuden was giving them an explanation of the dimensional strike. What it does, possibilities that have been proven, the whole shebang. Before we go any further into the uses for this, I have a few rules for the technique. Oddly enough, they were the same rules as Akua's. Jujento. Since Neji is learning Akua's Hagetsu Jujento, he has to follow the same rules. Yes, they both agreed on the rules. That came as a shock to Hinata. Why is Neji learning from Akua? She doesn't seem to type to be influenced easily by someone that she highly outmatches. Actually, I asked her the same thing a few weeks ago. She doesn't really know herself. Something tells me she likes him, but I can't even confirm it with my spirit eye. I've put everything I know into consideration. The only other time I came up with only one answer was back at Yukai Academy. That was because Goku was there and he understood it without having to say anything. This time though, that's the only thing I can come up with, because I can't find anything else for the situation. They don't even match up properly, Shuden said. I think so, too. Then again, that bad matchup may work for them. I can't say for sure, but something tells me you're right. She does like him. Hinata said. And he's totally oblivious to it. They all laughed at that, and got to work. With Akua had been helping Neji in ways neither of them expected. They decided to take a break after about 3 hours of training. Neji started a conversation. Why did you decide to teach me this? It doesn't make much sense. I don't really know myself. One side of me says I don't want you dying in a painful way. Another side says I don't give a shit. Basically, I'm confused, myself. Akua said, trying not to lose her voice to embarrassment. I see what it is. Mind telling me? I need to find out somehow. I think you're in love, Neji said, trying to smile. It wasn't working. Love? Why is that in the area? Akua thought. What makes you say that? You said that one side doesn't want me dying in a painful way. That's the love talking. The other side is telling you that you don't care at all. That's what you used to be, and happen to be accustomed to. The two are fighting at each other, and in the end, love won out. Of course, that last part was just speculation, Neji said, feeling somewhat proud of himself. Akua's heart was beating faster. Wait, heart? She didn't realize she had one until the thumping on her chest told her otherwise. That actually makes sense. The only one I actually confided my secrets to was my sister. I already told you of one that only she knew. The whole Alucard business, and the aftermath. I told Sakura about the aftermath, but not everything. What I told you earlier was different. Alucard had come back due to Mocha's rage. Her mother's blood in her fueled Alucard, making him go after Mocha. No one but me and Mocha know the full story there, and now you know. Neji was surprised at this information. It seems I hit the nail on the head. Looks like you did. Shall we continue? Neji nodded. Neji was a fast learner. He had managed to do it right after about 30 more minutes. 3.5 hours, to get it right the first time. I'm impressed. Still, after that break you progressed at least 10 times faster than before. I still don't get what that was about, but right now I don't really care. My mind is focused on getting you better at this, Akua said. My mind is focused on two things. The technique itself, and you. Nothing else existed at that point. The target meant nothing to me. Neji said. This shocked Akua. What happened next shocked both of them even more. Neji went up and kissed Akua. It was on the cheek. But both of them blushed. Without thinking, Akua kissed his cheek. A.N. Holy shit. Looks like Akua's got a boyfriend. Who knew? Yukari came in to tell them it was getting late, but noticed they were both blushing. Yukari smirked. Hey, it's time to get going. It's getting late. Neji and Akua looked at Yukari. Akua then said, get lost. Neji had other ideas. He intended to try out his control with the technique at this point. He used the Jujento and it landed right in front of her. This shocked Yukari, but impressed Akua. Neji spoke up. Warning shot. If you don't get out now, the next one will be your arm. Akua looked at Neji. Yukari saw the blush on his face grow when Akua looked at him. She got the message. Just 5 minutes you, too. Nothing more. I'll keep what I'm thinking to myself, unless you're not out in time. 5 minutes, not a second later, she went through the portal. Akua looked at Neji. Warning shot. A bluff. Truthfully, it was a test of my control. After what happened with the entire thing, something got to me. She said something. I got embarrassed. That gave me the idea. It seems my control is better with love-related feelings, Neji said. Good to know. Then I'll be sticking around, and teaching you a few more techniques. Maybe get to know you better. Akua said. I just hope Issa doesn't find out. You know how bad most fathers get with their daughters. He's worse. Shuden outdid him on several occasions, so in the end, he accepted him. I doubt he would accept you, but I don't care about that anymore. Akua paused for a minute, wondering what she just said. Looks like you were right. I am in love with you. I'm not thinking like I normally do. It fits everything else I know about love. Neji smiled at that. We'd better go. Don't want this to get out to your father, do you? Akua shook her head, and they walked out. As Neji was leaving, Naruto noticed something on Akua. She looked different than usual. It was almost like he remembered the way Mocha got when Shuden was walking away from her. They looked the same. Exactly the same. Oh crap. She loves Neji. This is gold. I hear ya, kid. That will make for some excellent talking material later. No kidding. Who should we tell first? I'll tell Neko. You tell Sukune. Make sure no one else hears this. Issa especially. There's no telling what he'd do. Good point. Still, Sukune and I stay here. Issa stays in his portal area to rest. That gives us a bit of an advantage. I'll be taking my leave to talk to Neko. She'll probably tell Hinata, but I don't think it will get past her. Got it. Naruto let Sukune in, and told him to block all other communication. What's so secret that needs to be blocked out? Sukune asked. Akua loves Neji Hyuga. What makes you say that? Her face when she watched him go. It's the exact same one Mocha gets when Shuden walks off for something without her. You and I both know how the two of them feel about each other. What's more, Akua is Mocha's sister. She probably has some of the same traits. The facial expression I just saw her have proves that. Wow. I didn't take her as the type for love, Sukune said. Neither did I though. Something's telling me Yukari's hiding something. Wanna grill? You know it. Sukune said over their link. Yukari, are you hiding something? Yukari shook her head. It's not really important, and I'm not sure about it. So, no, I'm not hiding something. Sukune looked at Naruto, who got the message. I take it, it has something to do with Akua and a certain Hyuga? Yukari tensed. What do you guys actually know? I want details, she exclaimed. She was happy that someone found out what she was missing. Everyone else in the area looked at Yukari, Issa included. Can't say right now. Certain people here would create a massive panic if they found out, Naruto said, eyeing Issa, but keeping his face on Yukari. She got the message. I see. It's that. Don't worry about it. It was probably nothing, anyway. She winked at Naruto as she said finished. Sukune had already noticed everyone was looking at them. What? What did she mean when she said that it wouldn't have anything to do with that Neji kid, would it? Issa asked. Naruto answered his question. I don't think so. Then again, something is bothering me about Neji. Something is definitely wrong with him. What it is, I don't really know, but at the same time, I don't really care. He lied, but he did it so smoothly everyone, save Sukune and Yukari, bought. Naruto did a nice job with that one. No kidding. That sounded completely believable to me. He's gotten good at lying. Sukune told his demon. Tell me about it. Now if only Neko knew Naruto had started to like Hinata. Then that would be the perfect drama scene. Do tell. But wait until tonight. Something tells me we're gonna need the privacy. Agreed. With Neji, the next day Neji woke up. His dream was beyond weird. Given the events the night before, he couldn't say he didn't expect them, though. He woke up smiling, something he never did. He also woke up on his own. Another first. He got out of bed and left his room after getting dressed. The servant came in about 30 minutes later, only to realize that Neji had already left and made his bed. Wow, he's actually out of bed before I get in here. That's a first. I should probably tell Heishi about this. She left the room, looking for Heishi. She found him outside talking to his daughter Hanabi. Lord Heishi, I have some strange news regarding Neji, the servant said. If it's about his training, I don't want to know about it. It's not, sir. He was out of bed when I got in his room to wake him up. In fact, his room was perfectly spotless. This is a first for him. He's always still in bed when I get in there, and a little groggy when he wakes up. Do you know what could have happened? Heishi shook his head. But I do know someone who might. Find Hinata. And tell her to come here. I have a few questions for her before she leaves. Yes, sir. The servant left, only to return 2 minutes later. Here she is, sir. Heishi looked at Hinata. Did something happen yesterday with Neji? He is acting highly different than he always is in the morning. How so, Dad? Hinata asked. Well, for starters, he's up before the normal wake-up call, and his room is spotless at that point. Meaning, he has been up for over an hour at that point. Hinata thought for a moment. Could it be true? It wouldn't hurt to say it as speculation. I think it has something to with Akua. I heard him mumble her name on the way back. As to why, I don't know, but I didn't feel any hatred at all. Neko seemed to be talking to someone, but I couldn't hear it, so I don't really know. I could ask, but somehow I doubt she would tell me. Wouldn't hurt to try, would it? Heishi asked. He didn't get an answer. He tried using his Byakugan, but he didn't find anything. Hinata was out of it. With Neko. Lady Neko, I have a question. Who were talking about last night? It wouldn't happen to be Neji, would it? It was. I heard from Foxy that Neji and Akua had fallen in love. This caught Hinata off guard. Big time. Are you sure about that? Foxy said his container had found out as you and Neji were walking off. Akua's face is what he used to determine that. How so? From what I understand, her sister Mocha has the same expression when Shuden walks off without her. How this ties into it, I don't know. Hinata face-palmed herself. I know, and now it makes sense. Mocha's feelings for Shuden are far beyond boyfriend and girlfriend. Neji and Akua are in love. Akua. Probably more than she would admit. She's still new to it, last I checked. I see. That does make sense. And you're probably right about her being new to it. She never did seem like the type to love someone. Don't I know it? Did Foxy tell you to keep this a secret? No, but I figured I would from everyone but you. You'd want to know sooner or later, and you came sooner than I expected. That's because Neji is acting strange this morning. Getting up at least an hour before he usually does, and without being woken up by someone else is a first. Anyone would get a little suspicious. True. Are you going to tell your father? I'll only say that you know something is up between him and Akua. Anything else, such as what or why, you wouldn't say, even when I tried grilling it from you. Foxy's container is rubbing off on you. I'm impressed. I hope I can do it as good as he can. Real world. Haishi was a little concerned, but he figured he shouldn't be. About 5 minutes had passed. Hinata had just blinked. What did you find out? Haishi asked. The only thing I did find out was that she found something is up between him and Akua. As to what it is, or even why, she wouldn't tell me. I tried grilling it from her, but I got nothing else. Haishi raised an eyebrow. Are you sure? Yes. Well, she did say it wasn't set in stone, so she couldn't really say. She does like to be on the dot before she says anything. It gets on my nerves sometimes. Haishi bought it. Hook, line and sinker. Wow. She is good. Thank you, Lady Neko. I hope you try that on Naruto sometime soon. Not likely. I should probably get going. It seems like I have something to do today. Haishi looked at Hinata, knowing what she was going to do, or at least what he thought he knew. Get going then. I want to know details myself. Hinata giggled and warped out. When did she learn how to do that? I feel left out, all of a sudden. With Hinata she warped straight to Akua's position. Hey Akua. Waiting for someone? Akua just looked at Hinata. She nodded. Would that someone happen to be Neji? Akua shuddered. How did she know? To answer a question you probably have. Neji left his room without telling anyone. The one that always wakes him up didn't find him in his bed. Instead, for the first time in his life, his entire room was spotless, and he wasn't in there. No one knew where he was. Lady Neko is thinking that you like him, or he likes you. Naruto-kun thinks it's more than that, though. Akua simply nodded. He's right. It is more than that. The feeling is mutual. He told me last night what I was feeling. I didn't know what it was, but he found out and I asked him. I've never asked anyone but Mocha for help before. If that isn't enough of a clue, I don't know what is. I love him, and he actually kissed me first. Hinata gasped. What? Lady Neko. Neji made the first move. I don't believe it. Nor do I. This is totally turning into gold. If Foxy were here right now, he'd probably be laughing. Hinata finally noticed Akua's question. It's nothing. I'm just surprised he made the first move. Akua softened her look. Well, he did. What do you think I should do? I don't know. A list of firsts in the past 24 hours. 1. He makes the first move on a girl. 2. He gets up on his own. 3. He cleans his own room spotless. 4. He's gone without a word. Hinata was interrupted. 5. I woke up smiling. 6. I actually had a sweet dream about a girl I actually like. Akua knew that voice. It had imprinted into her brain. Hinata knew it as well. Hinata, what are you doing here? Neji asked before they looked at him. Oh, I just came to ask Akua a few things. Turns out she had a few questions for me, as well. Hinata said. Neji looked at her suspiciously. He knew that she knew. Don't tell anyone about us. You will regret it if you do. Naruto-kun figured it out last night. Apparently, Akua's face looked identical to Mocha's when Shuden did the same thing you and I did last night. Walking off, and she wasn't with us. Akua didn't realize that part. You didn't tell me how he figured it out. You didn't really let me finish. Neji, my father wanted to know details about this. I won't be telling him that much. Naruto-kun on the other hand will want to know. He doesn't stop until he gets what he wants. Besides, it's only because of him that I know this. Neji sighed. No one else is to know. Naruto is fine since he figured it out first. Other than that, no one is to know, Neji said. I got it. I'll be out all day, to try and make this convincing. I got around not telling father everything I knew, By covering a lie with a truth, Hinata said. How did you manage to do that? Akua asked, raising an eyebrow. Neko found out from Foxy, and Foxy found out from Naruto-kun. I found out from Neko this morning. I told father that Neko thought something was up, and it looked like he didn't believe me. I still kept going, and he believed the next thing I said, which was actually about Neko. She really does annoy me with her wanting to know every detail before saying something. Saying that, he bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Hinata said, raising 3 more eyebrows. Hinata, I think Naruto's rubbing off on you. I can't say it's a good thing, but in this case, it's not really a bad thing, either, Neji said. I know. I don't like lying, but for this, I might as well. This is something I don't think anyone would predict. Okay. Maybe Shuden would, but somehow I doubt he would say anything. Hinata said, pausing to think before she finished. Akua and Neji nodded. Well, I have to go to Naruto-kun. We have a date, as well. Hinata warped out. With Heishi, earlier Heishi found Hinata, and she was talking to Akua. Neji showed up, and he tried to figure out what was going on. Something was preventing him from reading their lips. He couldn't figure out what it was, though, and that was making him a little mad. Why is it I can't read their lips? Nothing's wrong with the eyes, something, or someone is interfering, but who? Lord Heishi, someone has come to see you, a servant said. Send him in, Heishi said. A few seconds later, the room got colder. A girl resembling Agaya, just smaller, came in. Who might you be? The girl looked at him. I'm looking for someone named Shuden Sol. I know the Hyuga clan should be able to find him, if he were in the area. So, where is he? The girl looked a little mad. If you want to fight him, you're out of luck. He's too powerful for anyone in this world, Heishi said. I know that. This caught Heishi off guard. The fact that you know this means he's in the area. I know I can't beat him, but that's not why I'm looking for him. His scent is masked. I can't find him. If you won't help me, I could just find Hinata. Heishi was caught off guard twice in one conversation. Boy, this day is full of firsts. Don't worry about that. Before I tell you, I have a question. The girl looked like she knew what was coming. She beat him to the punch. Uzaru. Now where is he? Okay, 3 times. 3 times I got caught off guard in a single conversation. Heishi had to steel his nerves. He should be around the forest area south of here. I don't have his actual location, but I do know that. Today is a day off for my daughter, who is being trained by him. Makes sense. He wasn't able to do so back at the academy. My name's Kurumu, by the way. She turned around before finishing. Kurumu Kurono. This didn't catch him by surprise. I figured as much. You look like your mother, Agaya. Kurumu stopped dead in her tracks. My mother is here. Heishi nodded. Agaya Kurono is currently staying around where Shuden has been living for a few weeks now. Find her, you might find him. That wasn't even part of the plan, Kurumu said. Probably a last-minute thing. Apparently, the council didn't buy the warning when Shuden gave it. He was prepared with Issa Shuzen, Agaya Kurono, Surara Shirayuki, and Akua Shuzen. Kurumu tensed at this. Please tell me that Mizor is here. Or at least Mocha. Heishi shook his head. You're the first one to show up, as far as we know. Kurumu looked down. I see. Guess I have to go. See you next time, I guess. Kurumu warped out. That settles it. I need to learn how to do that. That won't be happening anytime soon. With Agaya was at the dango and rice shop. She loved sweets. When she wasn't training or trying to seduce men, she was eating sweets. The owners were glad she was in the area. She attracted a lot of customers. They decided to give her a voucher, good for 1 full year of 10 trays of dango a day. As long as she kept coming, people were coming in. Then, one person she hadn't expected to come in did. There you are, Mom. Took me a while. Agaya looked at her daughter. Kurumu, when did you get here? About an hour ago. I was looking for Shuden, but his scent was dead. Do you know where he is? Kurumu asked. No, and frankly I don't really care. His place is down at the southeast edge of the village, about 3 miles out. You want to find him, wait for him there. He warped out, and you know how that gets. True. Later. Kurumu said. The owners looked at Agaya. Yes, she's mine. She's quite popular, and available. The others heard this, and more people started coming in. A girl with a mark on her neck came in. Hey, guys. What's going on? The owners looked at her and smiled. Ah, Anko. It's been a while. 7 weeks. I've been up to here, without some of your dango. It really calms me down. Anko said. Agaya got up and sat down across from her. So your name is Anko, huh? Your surname happened to be Mitarashi? Agaya asked. That's right, and you better not try anything while I'm around, if you know what's good for you, Anko said. Agaya just looked at her, and plucked a thought. Ever wonder how to get rid of that thing on your neck? She already knew the answer, but asked anyway. Wait. How do you know I can't get rid of it? Agaya simply nodded. I have a couple friends who would be able to get rid of it easily. I saw one of them do so with the caged bird thing. I think they can handle something like that. It looks more like a level 3 mark, while the caged bird thing was more of a level 7 mark. Anko looked at Agaya. This thing is more dangerous than the caged bird seal. Initially, yes. I have some experience with curses myself. Some leave marks, others don't. That one could kill you at first, but if you survive for 10 days, it won't kill you unless you go too far with it. Meaning, after those 10 days you're safe from anything but your own desires. If you crave power, it will continue to spread. If it goes too far, you risk killing yourself. Agaya explained. Then how is the caged bird seal more dangerous? The one with it can be killed at any time, whether it was due to a mistake on the caster, or due to treason by the sealed. From the looks of it, it also seals up any techniques the sealed one had when they died. This is why it's more dangerous overall. It may be considered a safety thing, but it's highly dangerous. There are other ways to do this, and they're much less dangerous. Agaya answered. Anko was a little suspicious. Who are these friends of yours? Anko asked. There are 3. Naruto Uzumaki, Sukune Aono, and Shuden Sol. Shuden taught the other how to do so. Naruto is the one who performed it. A regular tattoo is in the exact same place, to disregard any suspicions about it being removed. Agaya said, shocking the hell out of Anko. I know Naruto Uzumaki is not capable of this kind of feat. Shuden Sol, on the other hand, I heard he scared the hell out of the council, and froze Danzo. Anko said, a little miffed. Actually, that was my old rival that froze him. He still scared everyone in there, save Heishi Hyuga. He apparently knew the situation better than the rest. Even that Hokage of yours was scared. No one else noticed he was, though. I also asked the ones in the group I'm staying with. None of them noticed. But Shuden still figured he was scared. He had reason to be scared, either way. Agaya explained. Anko nodded. I guess I should trust you with this. Don't want to get Shuden pissed at me for snapping at you. Agaya giggled. What? If only you knew what he was really like. What do you mean? Anko said, curiosity seeping into her voice. We should talk about this elsewhere. Too many people. Anko nodded. She understood the need for secrecy when it was needed. Now, it was needed. -5 minutes later, at a lake right outside the village. So what were you talking about, not knowing what he's really like? Anko asked. Well, when he's in a good mood, he can be very playful, happy, and makes everyone around him happy. When he's angry, people back off. Even highly powerful yokai fear him at that point. Anko was getting worried at that point. When he's pissed off, well, the last time that happened, about 30 yokai got slaughtered, torn to shreds by his bare hands, and then vaporized. Another one, at the same event I might add, was torn apart, layer by layer. According to my daughter, who was watching from a safe distance, though I still don't know how, the skin went first, then some fat, muscle, nerves, and finally came the bones. After the bones went flying, everything was vaporized. Not a single trace of that guy remained. He stood there for some amount of time before falling to the ground. If not for a portal he made before he fired that blast, there would have been carnage the likes of which no one, not even the Hades lords, have seen. They are also the ones who defeated Alucard the Shinso at least 1,000 years ago, where we're from. I'm sure you've heard the stories of that battle. I have, and if what he did would have done the much damage, I don't think anyone would want to piss him off. Anko said, fear now in her voice. Holy fucking shit. How powerful is this guy? Well, that's why he's here now. Naruto is a friend of his, and that happened when a friend of his was kidnapped and beaten to hell. Now, imagine what would have happened if Naruto died. Agaya said, finally going silent. Anko, on the other hand, went utterly pale. So much so, she passed out. She didn't have that much imagination, she knew that. Yet, for something like that, she couldn't handle it, and passed out. Oh. How I hate having to do this. Still, it does have its advantages. Agaya picked Anko up and took her to the portal. Sukune was in the training area. She went in there, carrying Anko. Hey, Sukune-kun. I have someone here that could use some help. Sukune looked towards Agaya. She was carrying someone else, and she seemed unconscious. What's going on? Did she faint? She did, but that's not why I brought her here. Take a look at her neck. Sukune took a look. A level 4 curse. That's a pretty big danger at first. Where'd you find her? She and I met at the dango stand. We began talking, but had to move due to a sensitive topic. She passed out there. I brought her here, but for the mark. Her name is Anko Mitarashi. Sukune nodded. Set her down, make sure the curse mark is completely visible. Then, you might want to back up. Agaya did so. When she backed up, Sukune went into his half-fox form. Black flames started curling around his right hand. Here we go. Demon art. Curse mark release. Sukune put his hand on the curse mark. The mark started to react and expand. After about half a second, the mark stopped expanding and retracted. It started spreading onto Sukune's body. When it reached the right elbow, the marks started to fade. When the marks no longer crept onto Sukune's arm, they still faded from the elbow. He lifted his hand to reveal nothing. The mark was gone, as was the seal keeping it there. Sukune didn't even look tired. Sukune-kun, how long were you training before this? About 3 hours, at 600x. I've been taking it easy for a while. Agaya stared at Sukune. He stared right back, spirit eye active. I wouldn't use charm on you. There's no worry about that. Remember, I'm already taken. Not once moving her eyes from his. He noticed that the girl, Anko, was stirring. He took his eyesight away from Agaya, deactivated his spirit eye, and looked at her. She found herself in a place she didn't recognize. She jumped up and got into a stance to fight. Who are you? She asked, before she spotted Agaya. Your name is Anko Mitarashi, is it not? Has a sweet tooth, former student of Orochimaru, that bastard of a snake, and former bearer of his curse mark? Anko shuddered at that last part. What do you mean former bearer of his curse? See for yourself. I did the deed, Sukune said. Anko took a look at where the mark was. Keyword. Was. The mark was gone, there was no evidence of it being sealed. She would have known. What the hell? I told you I knew people that could get rid of it, Agaya said. You did a good job, Sukune-san. The mark is definitely gone. I know. The thing had to leave somehow, he said, grabbing his right arm. At least I heal pretty damn fast. If not, I'd have to rest up for about 4 days, instead of 5 minutes. I know you can't do it often, but it doesn't come around often, either. With you, Naruto, and Shuden able to do so, and, maybe one day Hinata, the village will be just fine when it comes to curse marks, Agaya said. That may be true, but that doesn't mean it doesn't take its toll. By the way, Anko. The power you gained from the mark isn't gone, but the negative effects, and the transformation it brings, is. The mark itself is gone, just not the power boost. In fact, now you even call it out should you need to use it. It won't even affect your body, and chakra consumption will still be normal. Since you're a Junin, your chakra control is about B rank. It would take C rank control to use it effectively. I won't be able to do that again for a few days, and you don't have to worry about that kind of curse ever again. You've gained full immunity to it. You won't be able to catch that thing, and have it stay there. Not anymore. Anko pause. How'd I bring it out? Sukune sighed. This is gonna take a while to explain. Agaya, you might want to get a couple of chairs. We're gonna need them. Agaya actually induced an illusion in the area. This made chairs appear. Both Anko and Sukune knew it was an illusion. Agaya, I said get the chairs. Don't make illusionary chairs. They could disappear while we're talking. Anko was surprised he knew they were an illusion at his age. Then again, he did get rid of a curse mark, but left the power it gave. She didn't know what else to expect. They may be illusions, but it will hold until I pass out, or start sleeping. You know I'm good at this, and can keep it up if I change dimensions. Besides, while you use those, I'll be getting the actual chairs. I didn't know the second part. Get moving, then. We don't want to fall on our rear ends, Sukune said. Agaya left. Hopefully she doesn't pass out on the other end. Sukune explained everything she would need to know. About 5 minutes later, Agaya came with 3 chairs. They moved around, and Agaya dropped the illusion. The explanation took almost 2 hours. So, by doing all of this, I can not only call on the power by doing the hand signs, but I don't feel any negative side effects? Anko asked. Yes, you can. Normally, it takes a while for it to gain enough control to use it, but I already have more than enough control to do so. My chakra control would be at or above cage level. That's from training in here. Past the white area. I wouldn't suggest going over there though. Not yet anyway. The gravity gets stronger the farther you go out. When I want to take it easy I stick around 600x. The x stands for how many times Earth's gravity, while the number is the multiplier. In other words, 1x is outside, and in the white area, and further out it goes to things like 1000x. Actually, I'm at 1550x. It goes on for miles even that far back. Wow. I'm actually jealous. Don't be. What I can do isn't only my power. Remember what I said. It can be the difference between life and death. Sukune said, before walking back out. Now, I'm heading back out to 600x. I gotta keep it up for as long as I can. He's got a lot of stamina, Anko said. You have no idea, Agaya said as she turned to the portal and left. Anko stayed behind and watched Sukune's shadow box. That's it folks. Chapter 3 is done. AG003. Hey, why isn't 004 here? AG000. Don't you remember, he went to see an old friend bringing him a package from Valti. AG003. Oh, yeah. Forgot. AG002. Idiot. AG001. Rate and review. Academy Life AG000. We actually have a few reviews. AG002. Well then. Bring them on, Dumbledore. Why did Sarutobi tell the Anbu about the code word? He shouldn't have told them that. If there was a leak, shit will hit the fan. As for the Anbu, shouldn't they be called by their code name? Yugo should have been called Neko, otherwise that would be a breach in security. AG000. I didn't know her code name, and Neko was already the name of another character. AG002. In regards to the code word, those 3 in particular are the only ones who were told, and they were the 3 assigned to guard Naruto. They would have needed to know if they could trust a stranger claiming to know them. Shuden. Besides, when I got there, I made sure that won't remember it after their job for protecting Naruto is over. They won't even remember that they even forgot something. Memory rewrite. Never fails. AG000. Dumbledore. This is for the other 2 that came around after the last one. The Uchiha clan was massacred while Sasuke was in the academy. As you will find out in this chapter, that has yet to happen, even in canon. AG002. Neji and Akua was my idea. I came up with it, and we all saw possibilities. AG004. I actually think they go together quite well. Read this chapter and find out some of the results it gained, along with a somewhat pissed Issa. Shuden. Their chakra control is about that level, while their strength alone is far beyond that level. Also, another surprise guest will appear in this chapter. AG003. How did you find out? Shuden. Ran into her earlier. I won't tell anyone, don't worry. Disclaimer. I don't own Naruto. I don't own Rosario plus Vampire. Chapter 4. The Academy Life. Sukune and Naruto were hoping to go for the best spots. This was their first day at the academy, so they had to look the part, and play it. They had been forbidden from using any jutsu until that point, unless they were in private, or during training times. Naruto went to pick up Hinata, while Sukune went to pick up Sakura. With Naruto. Hey there, Naruto said, coming up to the Hyuga compound. Hishi was standing outside, handing Hinata something. Hinata, you ready to go? Naruto asked. Sure am. Let's get going, she replied, quite happy. We've got one more person to pick up. It's Shuden's request that I do this. Hinata looked at Naruto strangely. If it were me, I'd head to the academy now. Besides, you and I have an advantage over the others. We know what to expect. The others don't. I filled in Sukune on that, and he and I worked on those particular skills. They weren't really our best areas, but we have a few new tricks to make up for them. Hinata nodded. Things are going to be easy for us to graduate at the top. They started coming up on the Uchiha compound. Why are we here? A kid that looked somewhat familiar to both of them walked up to them. It was a younger version of Sasuke. Hey, you two must be Naruto and Hinata, right? They nodded. My name's Sasuke Uchiha. Shuden told me you'd be coming to pick me up. Let's get going. They all nodded and they took off. With Sukune had just reached Sakura's house. Hello. Ms. Haruno. Is Sakura ready yet? We have to get moving soon. Sukune asked, as Sakura was coming down. Never mind, here she comes. He said without turning towards her. Hey, Sukune. Let's get going, Sakura said. Sukune turned and nodded as they went for the door. At the academy, people were gathering around the academy for their first time. For Naruto and Hinata, though, it would be the second. They knew where everything was, every single classroom, the areas for best pranking spots, which Naruto was better at than he was last time. Hinata was good, as well. Sukune had a knack for it, and they all knew the reason. They were Jinchuriki, it was their thing. Sasuke didn't know about this, but Sakura did. She knew more than the others. Even Anbu didn't know all of the details she did. Their eye was still a mystery. Luckily, each of them had trained in 2 to 4 fighting styles. Sasuke excluded. He only learned one, and that was the one that he was most adept at. The Kame fighting style that Goku always used. He was told it was once used by a great warrior, one of the most powerful that ever lived. Sasuke took to the task with gusto. Okay guys. Let's go. Sasuke. Naruto stopped for a second. Yay? Did Shuden explain everything to you? Sasuke looked at Naruto as if he were hiding something. Naruto picked up on this. Well, in case he didn't, I will. During the academy, we aren't allowed to go over 10% at any given point in time. This goes for you, as well. Only do jutsu when asked, and never use any techniques that were not originally chakra-based. This is if you know of any. Sasuke nodded. I do know of one, but I haven't mastered it yet. It's based on the fighting style I use, and it's the signature move of one of the most powerful warriors of all time, at least, that's what Shuden said. Naruto nodded at this information. I take it you're talking about the Kamehameha wave. It was used by a warrior known as Goku-san. In all of recorded time, he is the second most powerful warrior. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting him once. Sasuke took this news by surprise. You actually met him? What was he like? How powerful was he? Is he a ninja? Naruto took his time to think about his answers. In order, yes I did. He was pure-hearted but wasn't afraid to fight when it was needed. Unbelievably powerful, and no he isn't. Sasuke nodded. So, who's the only one more powerful than him? You said he was the second strongest. Who's the first? Sasuke asked. You were trained by Shuden, were you not? Sasuke nodded. Then you already know him. Shuden is the only one to be able to take him down with ease. Someone else is close to Goku, but he's weaker. If one didn't know any better, you'd say they were equal. But when the other one is pissed off, he's better, and a lot more dangerous. His name is Vegeta. He doesn't have a surname like Goku, but I've met him, as well. I've even seen his rage in action. Not a good thing to be directed at you. Sasuke nodded. We should get going. Class is about to start. Don't want to be late on your first day. Naruto said. Sasuke and Naruto started running. For the building, Sasuke staying close but behind Naruto. That afternoon, at one of the training grounds, Iruka was standing in front of the group of new students. We're going to start off by sparring. Is anyone here not familiar with sparring? A few hands went up. Okay, does anyone have experience with sparring? He figured the question was a lost cause, until some hands went up. Didn't expect that. Those of you who have any bit of experience, come forward. Naruto, Sukune, Sakura, Hinata, and Sasuke stepped forward. No one else did. What are your names? They all gave their names. Some caught the Uchiha, mainly the girls. He already had a few fangirls. He didn't want any more. He knew Sakura and Hinata weren't going to go after him, so he figured they were safe to hang around. Okay, which of you would like to give a demonstration? Naruto and Sukune walked up first. Sakura and Hinata looked at each other, and then back to the two Jinchuriki. This is gonna be good, Sakura said. No kidding. Those two have been sparring for a few years, Hinata said. How many years? Sasuke asked. He was ignored. Probably not the best thing, but it was just something that caught his interest. Then he heard the voice of Shuden. You'll see, Sasuke. Remember what I taught you about your eyes. That will help you keep up. Sakura activated her spirit eye. She knew she was going to need it. Hinata focused her Yuki into her eyes, and they went into a cat-like shape, instead of her Byakugan. Sasuke did something similar, but with chakra. His Sharingan came out, and it had two Tomo in one of them. Iruka spoke up. Ready? Begin. The two combatants didn't move at first. A whistle was in the wind. Once the whistle died down, the two phased out. Everyone, even Iruka, was surprised at their speed. Sakura, Hinata, and Sasuke were the only ones able to keep up, and none of them could blink. If they did, they would lose sight of them. Sasuke was watching intently. He knew he wouldn't be able to copy this. He simply didn't have the speed. If this is them at 10%, then they're already better than my brother was at our age. Hinata said something. I could have sworn they knew not to go over 10%. Shuden explained it to all of us. Sakura nodded. He did, and they're not. In fact, they're only at about 0.3% right now. I've measured both of them, and this is not the best they're allowed. It's lower by a lot. Sakura said, almost making Sasuke take his eyes off of the fight. Almost. After about 5 minutes of almost completely invisible fighting, the two fighters were doing backflips and landed in their respective stances. Iruka was shocked. He couldn't form the words to tell them to stop. Luckily, Sakura caught the though saying he wanted it to stop. Naruto, Sukune, I think you made your point. Get back over here, before I have to drag you back to Shuden's place by your ears. Sukune and Naruto looked pale and got out of their stances. They walked up to each other and nodded. They gave the shinobi handshake that Naruto learned the last time he learned about this. It signaled harmony and a good match. Thank you, Sakura. Iruka said, completely calm on the outside, but a little scared on the inside. Sakura knew this, but decided not to call him on it. Instead, she went to look at Naruto and Sukune. Naruto then spoke up. How many people actually saw what was going on? Sakura, Hinata, Sasuke, and one other student raised their hand. The fact that someone else raised their hand was a surprise to the others who raised their hands. Sukune called out. Get up here, then. I'd like to know how you did so. The girl came up and looked at them. She bore a similarity to Goku. Sukune and Naruto were able to make a connection through the spirit eye. She was related to Goku, somehow. Naruto had figured something out, but he had to make sure. What's your name? Pan. Pan-san. This caught the attention of all the other who had experience with sparring. Naruto and Sukune knew that something was up here. Hinata knew that something was different about this girl. She decided to ask the question on the minds of all three Jinchuriki. You wouldn't happen to have a grandfather by the name of Goku, would you? The girl nodded. This caught the attention of none other than Sasuke himself. I've heard of him. From what I hear, he's the second strongest warrior that ever lived. Who told you that lie? He's the strongest warrior ever, Pan said. Naruto and Sukune looked at each other. She didn't know. Pan, your grandpa was surpassed by a friend of ours. He's in the area now. Pan took this as a surprise. When was he surpassed? And who could possibly do that? Sukune looked up. I don't know. Why don't you ask him yourself? Pan caught his look. She saw that someone else was flying. He didn't have a high power level, but he was probably hiding it. Powerful warriors do that from time to time. Pan flew up to him. Naruto and Sukune activated their flame streaker and went up to them. Sakura made the lightning streaker and went up there. Hinata stuck with Sasuke on the ground. So, you're Goku's granddaughter, huh? I didn't think you'd have your tail, Shuden said. How do you know my grandpa? Pan asked. My name is Shuden Sol. If you can't tell by my tail, I'm a Saiyan, as well. Pan noticed the tail after he mentioned it. Okay, so you're a Saiyan. That doesn't mean you're stronger than my grandpa. That's not why. You see, Goku and Vegeta are both 5-star warriors. Goku had helped me in a way, regarding my tail. Do you know how? Pan's eyes went wide. You mean to tell me, you've gone Super Saiyan 4? We had an illusionist in the area, and she helped out, but yes. Prove it. Shuden shrugged, and went Super Saiyan 4. Satisfied? Or should I go even further? This caught Pan off guard. What do you mean further? Shuden let his spirit energy flow into his eyes. Pan felt it move into them. His eyes changed shape, from an F to a 19-point star. The rest of his body was surrounded by a dark light. When the light disappeared, Shuden was in Super Spirit 5 form. This is known as Super Spirit 5. A form even Goku has yet to obtain. Its abilities are far beyond that of Vegeta at Super Saiyan 4. That caught her attention like nothing else. She was in for a shock. I only say this because it happened. I managed to push Vegeta's buttons enough. He did it, and was utterly annihilated. He was in the ground before he even split apart. He went to his normal state, and then split 2 minutes later. This almost made Pan faint. She was better than that, though, so she stopped herself. Shuden went back down to his normal state. If you want to learn more, come with me. Shuden flashed a blue aura and took off. Pan followed suit. The others looked at each other and nodded. They went back down, releasing their wings. Everyone was stunned. Sasuke wasn't stupid. He knew that Shuden was powerful, but to induce that much power? Unreal. I mean, how powerful can one guy get? That was about as powerful as I get. The red fur form, level 4, is the highest Goku has ever gotten. This is why I am stronger than him. Hell, that's the only reason for that. If not for that final form, I would be on par with him. Shuden told Sasuke over the link. Don't get any funny ideas. You won't be able to achieve that form without a special piece. You won't be able to get it because of your Sharingan. It will block out your Sharingan, making you unable to use it. That Sharingan won't allow you to obtain it, either. I'm sorry, but it's true. That's something you'll have to live with. Got it, Shuden. Nothing can be done about this. Shuden knew this. Sasuke knew this. No changing that. Later that day, Shuden was talking with Pan. Sasuke was sparring with Sakura, getting advice at the same time. Naruto and Sukune were going at it again. This time, at about 20% speed. Sasuke figured he wouldn't be able to keep up with them, so he was going with Sakura. Yukari and Kurumu were exchanging things that happened for a while. Shuden then asked Pan, "How far was your grandpa along when you last saw him?" Shenron had taken him from us, but Android 18 said he was alive. This was about 5 to 7 months later. She saw him herself. She was trying to get away from Krillin. He was annoying the hell out of the girl. Things are not really easy now that Grandpa's gone. He won't even come home, now. Pan felt she was about to cry. Shuden picked up on this. Screw it. How would you like to see him again? You can't leave this area with him, though. Pan's sadness went away instantly. Is it possible? Shuden nodded. I could also show you how much more powerful I am than him. In a Super Saiyan 4 spar. Shuden looked upwards a little. Mikagami, I'd like you to send Goku into Training Ground 12. Someone wants to see him. Why would someone else know about him? It's his granddaughter, but don't tell him that. Just tell him I want to spar. No good opponents here. They heard a chuckle. I see. That is actually believable. Very well. I will send him. Thanks, Mikagami. Pan, you owe him one. Shuden said. Sasuke and the others walked up to Shuden. Naruto said something first. Why was Headmaster Mikagami talking to you? I was having him send Goku here. He should come through the portal. Pan, take this. Shuden tossed her a brooch. Put that on your chest and you'll be invisible to any senses, aside from the spirit eye. Naruto looked at Sukune. They both nodded. Good plan for a prank. Nah, I just don't want him to know she's here. Not yet anyway. What she does after the fight is up to her. Quick, he's coming. Pan slapped the thing on her chest, and she disappeared. Not a second too soon. Goku came in the moment she became invisible. Hey, Shuden. I heard you're looking for a good sparring partner. Why not Issa? He's busy with Akua. Hinata said, remembering what Neji told her a few nights ago. Flashback. Neji. Why do you like Akua? Hinata asked her cousin. I don't really know. She cares about me, and the feeling is mutual. Why I like her is a mystery to us both. The same is true in her case. She even told me she doesn't know why she likes me. She just does. I may know a lot, but not much can be done about it. Neji told her. So, if it came down between you protecting me, or you protecting her, who would you choose? Neji was caught off guard there. I don't know. Things have not been easy on either of us. Issa? Hinata said, surprise in her voice. Neji caught the surprise. He turned around and looked at the form of Issa Shuzen. I would like to know your answer, as well. The choice here is if you have to abandon your family, or the one you love, which would you choose? Neji shook his head. I couldn't choose. I like Akua, but my duty is protecting Hinata. If it came down to it, I would probably freeze up. The way I am now, of course. Neji told him. Issa just nodded. He knew full well the choice would be tough. He couldn't come up with an answer, meaning he is unsure how powerful the feelings he has for his daughter are. Then something else caught him off guard. Akua taught me the Hagetsu Jujento, but when I asked why she said things that led me to believe she liked me. She didn't know what she felt, or why